Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another TSG match in the Challenge Cup. Today is the first of 3 of the semi-finals between the wrong sheet. Oh my god, so sorry.
Strong start.
I knew something would go wrong. Bear with me one moment. Should be that one. Is that updated?
There we go.
There we go.
Hey.
Always take us away, please.
This is the first match of the other semi-final. We had game 1 of La Pedra versus KP yesterday, and we now have game 1 of an all-French matchup, Alexis versus TomPouce, which should be, is a pretty Goliath matchup, to be honest, befitting of a semi-final. You're just seeing the stats on the board. I've no idea what happened to make Alexis get a 27-minute finish time, but
Jet
Go off, King. It's Benjy alongside KLO in the virtual commentary booth for you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I've got my soup. I am ready for this first of the semi-finals. I don't believe this has been mentioned so far, but now that we are in the semi-finals, these are no longer one and done matches. It will be a best of 3. So
it will indeed. And given the way the previous head-to-heads have panned out, which is 12 between them, 8 to Alexis, 4 to TomPouce. I think that if you extrapolate from there, you'd get a 2-1 Alexis victory, but I wouldn't necessarily be so confident in that, not because Alexis is not a very qualified runner, but because TomPouce, it's Rando, and B, TomPouce is a very capable opponent. Actually, the highest seed, I think. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I'm just going to redo that. They're about even seeds, 83 for Alexis and 87 for TomPouce. So at least based on how well they performed in qualifying, about even. And by the way, for our francophone viewers, there is a French restream for this race as well, I believe, over at Papy Grand. So if you'd prefer to have the French commentators doing their thing, you can also switch over there. But if you're in English, then we've got you sorted.
I don't believe Nightbot. We haven't updated the command, so there is a French restream, no matter what Nightbot says.
We'll get there. Obviously, we've got an experienced crew all ready to break things down. I'm excited, to be honest. There's when you get to this, the real knuckle end of the tournament, you feel that extra intensity. I think the extra drama.
Yeah, and at this level of the tournament, as you said, the difference between the runners, even beyond the seeds, it can go either way at this level. I mean, looking at the qualifying results for everyone this season, the top 64 were close together, and the top 128 weren't that far behind.
No, it's been harder than ever to qualify for top 64 in Challenge Cup. Certainly, if this was a a decent bracket race in top 64, I don't think you'd bat an eyelid.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't anyway.
We're getting just a sneak preview. Looks like a child start with Epona's song and that's Spirit Medallion.
That is a Spirit Medallion. A nice song to start with. Helps with some of your logic immediately out the gate.
Yeah, gets you good movement. Means you can just rush GTG with nothing if you wanted to. Which I've seen it happen. We get the child start, which means we get the instant check of what the child spawn is. Under Season 6 settings, the adult spawn is vanilla at the Temple of Time, but the child spawn is random. So starting a child I quite like in that sense, because it means you know immediately, oh, actually, if ever I need to as child, maybe I can just save quit and save myself a whole lot of movement.
Yeah. It does immediately get you out of book. There is no set starting play as a child in this case, as you don't know where you're going to drop. So I can see the timer has started, so I believe we're straight away. And oh well, that's quite the start. That's definitely useful for a child start. You don't need to worry about time of day to get into the Temple of Time.
OoT Bolero, Skullmask dead, Final Treasure of Ice Cavern dead, and SFM to Bongo. So if I'm expecting Nocturne to be there or something leading to Nocturne to be there, I guess having Bolero, knowing instantly Bolero is on OOT, really reduces the possibility of all dungeons. And as you mentioned, having a child start at Temple of Time is lovely, because it means that if you don't get Prelude early, that's kind of less important.
I think that was the Colossus's left hand is a Deku Shield, so that's the adult side is dead.
It was definitely a hand that ended in the letter T. Which I appreciate is not helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, with Bolero on Ocarina of Time, there's really only one situation I can see in which all dungeons is required, and that is if the hover boots are in the crater. That's the only situation I can see it being.
Yeah, and I've seen it happen. So, as you say, Rando's going to Rando sometimes. You never know.
Yeah, never say never.
Both runners kind of doing the obvious here, going straight into Lon Lon. You get a couple of checks here. You get a song, which is always nice. The only difference is TomPouce took the opportunity to check for Hyrule Castle 1 hint and pick up a couple of skulls. But otherwise, the two are just kind of following each other's tracks here.
It's a pretty standard child play to pick up your songs. Songs are your most powerful checks in these settings.
And that is an instant slingshot, which you hope, I guess, you'd never really have to use. But
It can come in useful. I mean, if there's an early Requiem, it means you can get to your early Spirit Temple checks.
yeah, that is maybe the most use for it. Target in the Woods is unlikely to be useful. As we see TomPouce, he does like the swag walks, going with those.
Target in the Woods is not often useful, but the fact that you're going to be going to see Saria for the Saria song check and going through the Lost Woods as a child early anyway, getting that slingshot so you can target in the woods in early is always useful. And
especially if you get Minuet as well, which don't even have to save quit, which, especially if you're running on VC, that will save you a bit of time. I love having an early Minuet as well.
Yeah.
Also means you don't have to worry about some convoluted logic chain just to get into Forest Temple.
Yeah, if you can get a scale or iron boots, it means that your movement it's one of your best movement options. Minuet gives you Goron City access, Zora's River access, and Kakiri Forest.
Yeah, and with OOT on Bolero, of course, you're not going to be. It's unlikely that you're going to be ever getting that.
If we need Fire Temple, then it's a long hike to the Fire Temple if you don't have Minuet or Bolero.
I really loathe hiking seeds. So, yeah, nice to have early Minuet, as we're going to check what's on Minuet now. It's Song of Storms.
That's the Saria's check. That's our first of our Sacred Forest Meadow checks. So it could be Storms to Bongo, or
it could well be
to Nocturne, which would be boring. So I don't particularly want to see that.
And we're also getting that we had River Path to Phantom Ganon, and I don't think I've seen many River paths this year, but it is nice.
Yep, with your
there it is again.
Storm's nice and early means that you can loop in the most awkward river check in early as well, as soon as we get bombs or a scale.
I don't think there, and you're right, it does open up Frogs 1.
Yes, Velvet, sometimes Frogs 1 does have something.
I mean, there was a point when I think S6 there were a couple of qualifiers where not just Frogs 1, but Frogs 2 was needed, and it looked for a horrible moment like Season 6 was going to be the season of Frogs. Hyrule Field to Twin Rover. Interesting. It's actually the season of Child Goron City, as there's a nice early magic for Alexis. I imagine TomPouce will get that. I mean, with the money he's got, there's no way that he doesn't pick that up.
Yeah, he picked up the extra rupees more than Alexis did from the drawbridge. So he's been planning this route.
Blue fire bottle on Big Goron, by the way.
Doubt we'll be seeing that one today, as we have already picked up our bottle.
I think the only if you get the claim check specifically, and you have to go that way.
It's a
Vanilla slingshot.
Vanilla slingshot for us. Get that out in your bingo if you need be.
Exclamation point bingo, by the way, if you want to play along in chat. Thank you, Velvet. I lost my thread. Yes, I guess if you're up there and you have the claim check, you might turn it in, especially if you kind of think that ice is looking pretty likely. But
Skull Kids teaching Alexis the Goron lullaby there? Not quite. Not quite.
I always love it when it's just an actual song. Like that's always the dream. And just a bloopy. I know that a lot of people kind of begrudgingly do that check because it's a little bit slow, but I find that when you skip it is whenever it has. I mean, this is rando just all over. It's not good until you skip it, in which case it's got a major item. Yeah, I'll put my teeth back in. A major item.
I skip it every Blitz seed now because it's so rarely worth it. But I've already been burnt in the short amount of time I've been skipping it. So
yeah, Blitz. I've definitely picked up time in Blitz over much better players because they've skipped that check. We're getting the Storm's Grotto from Alexis, which had nothing. So time to see if Mido will provido. Just a little bit.
Like only the one chest today, but it's a bow. That's always useful to have.
And Alexis being very aggressive with not picking up the small chests.
Also, with the bow there, limits the number of items that can be in the river. I think we may be looking at a strength or a hookshot, our first hookshot there.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
Which in and of itself gives you more information about the other strengths or other hookshots. Another big chest in Kikiri Forest. And a Goron Tunic. That's going to be very... Yeah, it's going to be useful for Alexis as he has been avoiding those small chests, as you say, so I don't see him ending up with more than 4 hearts at the end.
I think for me, it's not necessarily the health, although, as you mentioned, having the Goron Tunic especially help, or the dry cleaning, as I've tried to start calling it, it does. Like, it mitigates the need for extra health a little bit as well. It's more the fact that you might pick up an early chew pack.
Yeah. Yeah, the chews are in small chests in this, for example.
And as I was saying,
set of chews there. And that's going to be useful for Tom if Frogs 1 does have our Path to Phantom Ganon. So it means Alexis will not be able to access the river until we find a bomb bag or a scale.
Or he picks up chews somewhere else.
Even if he picks up chews somewhere else, he has to go child again to get there.
That is true.
There is our Nocturne. So I think that answers our Sacred Forest Meadow to Bongo.
Yeah, that does flat out answer it. I'd still be tempted to have a look at the well because obviously
it's 11 checks. So
yeah, SFM to Bongo again. Good place for that, by the way. Thanks, game. And also, it leads from storms, and the logic is that the more path items there are in a location, the more chance that location has of being hinted. So if there were hover boots storms locked, for example, then there's 2 chances. Yeah, there's 2 chances for SFM to be on the path. Pouce is not going for the safe quit. I wonder if he's thinking, I've got a field hint, I've got some bomb chews, I'll just clear this out now.
I think it's more likely to be the same play but for river.
Oh, that makes sense.
Although it looks like you're right, it is going to Southfield with those bomb chews.
By the way, Dampe's on an absolute mad one today.
Been practicing his flame drops here.
The old 360 no scope. By the way, one of the 10 packs of chews for Pouce, and you can do a lot with 10 chews.
Yeah, it may always be disappointing to see a 5-pack, but 10 is plenty for most seeds. Bombs tend not to be that deep unless you're to something really cursed.
Dampe Skipper's rewarded because just some arrows and the Stone of Agony.
Nothing in the remote grotto. I didn't actually see the
The hint was just the Big Goron hint again.
just the big orange hint again. Thanks.
So, yeah, that's the other thing as well I quite like about clearing field early. It's not just the checks, which we know our path. It's also those hints.
Yep. 3 of the grottos have hint stones. So that's another.
And there's the other
useful
high roll field to Twin
hint.
Rover hint.
And that could be a useful location if you had done Valley Lake, which you shouldn't do.
Yeah, unfortunately, Valley Lake actually paid off, so we had to get rid of the command. But
and Alexis getting some payoff there for not opening the small chests. That is a bomb bag in Kakariko Village.
And TomPouce rewarded for opening the small chest by not having to buy a shield.
Yes, indeed. We'll be checking the Child Lake here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess while you're here and you don't have Serenade, I understand it. Also, you can set Child Scarecrow.
Yeah, no free Scarecrow in Season 6 settings, so getting that done early as you can. If you're here, you might as well. You never know when it'll pay off.
And here is, of course, the... Oh! I thought, this is a sensible Scarecrow song for a change from Tom, and I was wrong. It's 2 halves of a sensible Scarecrow song, but they're just not the same halves.
Song of Time in the Windmill, and those are the ice arrows there in a nice, easy location. We'll not be seeing them, unfortunately,
Song of Time
on Alexis' side.
Song of Time is one of those songs that you don't want it early, but the later the seed goes, I find the more you want Song of Time, because
it can worry you if you're running out of locations. One thing that I do find.
Sorry, go ahead.
What was that?
I was just going to say the Kak Grotto hint was Kakariko to Bongo Bongo. You don't say.
Yeah, I think we've answered that one already.
I'll let you finish your point. More chews on child fishing.
I'm afraid I've forgotten what the point was. What were we talking about?
I'm sure it was enlightening.
King Dodongo.
Something maybe Pierre or I can't remember.
It's fine. That fire arrows or a red rupee at the bottom of the lake. There's something red and shiny.
I'll tell you what. I'll watch it when it comes around a couple of seconds later. No, I won't. I missed it. Alexis is going to clear out the Wolfos Grotto because, as we mentioned, it's in a path location, so more chance of being a major item. It is nothing though. Burning Kak is Serenade.
Burning Kakariko is Serenade. One thing I'll note: did Alexis check the pedestal? I can see we haven't updated the notes yet.
I don't know if he did.
Yeah, I don't think I remember seeing it.
Which is a choice.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Fully clearing everything that you can do in Hyrule Field with those bomb chews. And that is a big chest in a path location. Is this going to be the Mirror Shield or a Strength? A Scale.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Oh, that is very interesting. If a Scale is the path to Spirit Temple, that could well be fire arrows in Lake.
The other option... Oh, yeah, I was going to say that it's just a strength on Frog's One, but we've got a logically available bomb bag.
Logically available bombs, so the number of things that Scale can be used for is drastically reduced. We're looking at the bottom of Lake Hylia. We're looking at...
Lab Dive.
Don't know. Lab Dive. It could still be...
the Tektite Grotto.
Be Tektite Grotto. Could be Zora's Domain, as we don't have Zelda's Lullaby yet.
Oh, fair point. Alexis struggling a little bit with this, with the no scope, and is just going to give up and use some bombs.
It's not one I've been able to find consistently either.
I mean, I struggle shooting at it from the other side where I can see the bomb flowers, so...
Let's see if these early chews are going to pay off for Tom. He's got an extra pack of chews as well, so he's got no shortage of explosives. I don't think we'll see Alexis getting those second chews anytime soon either, with them being on child fishing.
Yeah.
And yes, Gudrun, it does seem like Alexis just skipped the pedestal, so...
Oh, there's a big chest. Nothing on the left side. I think he actually went to read the hint and opened the chest by mistake.
And that looks like it'll be our path to Phantom Cannon.
The hook shot. Yeah, it might be, I think, as Alexis picking up a strength in the maze.
Alexis picks up the strength, so as soon as Alexis goes river, he can fully complete forest. And I can't imagine he's going to be putting it off very soon now that he knows the only thing left in river can be the first hook shot.
Yeah, he didn't check the words. He didn't check the pedestal, maybe because he'd seen a few path hints, and he's able to deduce from those what the medallion, well, not necessarily the medallion layout, but what the medallion dungeons are. So we know, even though he hasn't seen the pedestal, he knows that forest is a medallion because we've had a Phantom Cannon path.
There are things you can take away from knowing which medallion it is. You know you can beat Forest Temple now. You go to river, pick up your hook shot, whether that's as a child or adult, and then you can beat it. How fast you want to do that really depends on, is it a light medallion forest? Is it a forest medallion forest?
I mean, this partly comes from playing a lot of Blitz, where knowing the 3 dungeon songs and what those 3 dungeons are, I find is extremely valuable. You've already got. You started with the Spirit Medallion as well. So if you know whichever one Shadow Medallion is, then that's lax you can tick off, which you probably won't need. But runners have been burned before and will be burned again by forgetting about lax.
Yeah, pointing out that Alexis should know all of the dungeons as he has all 5 paths, which is true, but, as we're saying, knowing which medallion is which is going to be interesting, particularly the Forest Medallion. We know Burning Kakariko song's dead, but there's still a lot of important songs that could be on that prelude check.
By the way, that's the left side of the maze check hinted, I think. F's for Alexis. I like this from TomPouce with his nice rupee count, by the way. He's thinking, okay, I've seen the scale in a path location. I'm going to follow up on the scale checks.
Clear as much of the scale stuff as well as just clearing out a lot of potentially awkward child locations.
Zora's Domain, I find, is one of those locations that a lot of runners like putting off as long as possible.
Yeah.
Especially because, depending on what they've deduced from the various hints, they might think, I'm never going to Jabu. Hopefully.
I mean, we know Jabu is a stone now. We've seen all of our Ath dungeons.
I've no idea what the hint was on Alexis's side because his internet froze.
Slow down a bit, unfortunately. And yeah, the other nice thing about doing Zora's Domain here is it's very easy to get to your Lake Hylia. We might not have seen whether it's fire arrows or the red rupee.
But TomPouce would have done.
Yeah.
Also, Alexis denied about picking up that extra bow, but I think because he'd already used half his quiver, he thought, may as well get a free refill.
You can have an extra 30 arrows for the Cost of what? 4 seconds? Something I'd do too.
Ha!
There's Magic
Second
Tooth.
magic.
How does that work? Shadows required.
Good point. We'll get vanilla hovers or something to make up for it.
Yeah, that's true. Alexis pushing for skulls here. Not a skull
I
you
think-
normally see.
That is fire arrows.
That is fire arrows. That could be very interesting with regards to our required dins.
Yeah. Especially because we know Wasteland, we've had Wasteland hinted dead. So, in terms of checks that are locked by fire arrows, when you can't get dins, it is the Composer's Grave, and
Depends
I guess
how
just-
many, depends how many keys are fire locked in Spirit, but
yeah,
chunks
that's
of
the other
Spirit
thing.
Temple.
Spirit's the other option.
We think Scale is path to Twinrova. It's not 100% sure, as the Hectite Grove hasn't been checked yet, as nobody's got a Gold Scale or a Iron Boots. But with Mirror Shield there in Dodongo's Cavern, that's one item that could be path to Twinrova down. It's now more likely that we're going to be seeing a Scale path. And Scale could easily be path if it is fire locked, because there are a lot of checks in Shadow Temple. If any of those are the Gold Scale, then that would be locking. That would be locked behind the first Scale. I didn't quite see what that big chest on Alexis' side was. Was that Boomerang?
It was the banana.
It was the... There we go. Not quite as useful with Stone Jabu, but it wouldn't be the first time there was an item there.
Also with a slingshot. So you don't need it for Child Spirit, especially because TomPouce already has Choose.
Side hopping in Market.
Yeah, we didn't see Alexis
More flag
check.
movement.
Didn't see Alexis check Child shooting when he came back, being kind of pushing the dungeons a bit more as opposed to TomPouce who's clearing out more overworld.
Yeah. Well, Alexis has all 5 hints now, so... Someone went to the crater, and I don't remember what was on the volcano, so I can only assume it wasn't anything interesting, Purple.
If I had to guess, based on what I thought I saw, I think it's just a bomb refill.
Yeah. It wasn't a hover boost, otherwise I would have shouted. Sadly. There we go. Spirit Temple is the Forest Medallion. Vanilla Fire. Vanilla
Water's
Shadow.
Forest.
And Dodongo's Cavern as a Light Medallion. I didn't quite see what the other ones were.
Forest is the Water Medallion. And so that leaves Deku, Jabu, and Water as our spiritual stones. TomPouce is kind of following in Alexis' steps a little bit here. It's probably going to clear out Graveyard, Adult Kakariko, and then, I imagine, go to Dodongo's Cavern.
Yep, I can definitely see that. He's going to be picking up those bombs very shortly. And, I mean, if you pick up bombs in Kakariko, it's... I can't see many people not immediately going to Dodongo's Cavern after that. I mean, you're already there. You might as well.
It's really interesting to see Alexis has skipped a lot of small chests, but he's pushing skulls quite reasonably. We haven't had any... We've had the 30 hint, apparently, but we haven't seen 40 or 50 hinted, and obviously you never see 10 hinted, and
I understand.
we've only got one sometimes hint available, so there's a good chance we won't see 20.
understand pushing the skulls, but they're interesting choices in skulls. I don't remember seeing him pick up, the market skulls as a child.
He did not.
As that picked up extra ones from Dodongo's Cavern. I guess he's expecting that since he's going to be going child again at some point, which might not pay
Yeah,
off
actually-
as much considering Deku and Jabu are both stones.
Yeah, he actually might not need to go child again.
If those fire hours are path, he will, unfortunately, but he won't know that yet.
Well, he might logically need to. There's always ways around it.
Possibly.
Molly, that's my food, I'm afraid, sweetie. You're not allowed to eat that. Just gonna hide the food from Cat.
I was being quiet in the hopes that we would hear the cat, but unfortunately it didn't come through the mic.
I know, I'm trying to get her to say hello. Say hello, Molly. Stop knocking over my Lego Pokemon. Thank you. And she's off.
Nothing additional we've seen so far in Dodongo's Cavern, so... But it is required. It is a light medallion. You're going to have to do it at some point. Might as well do it as soon as you can.
And it did
checks.
have some progression, of course, because it had the mirror shield and it had
Did have
a
the mirror
boomerang, which we hope we won't need, but we might do. So, yeah,
I mean,
fair
if
trade.
Alexis is going to be pushing skulls, that boomerang is going to be useful for him. There are a good number of child skull checks that require the boomerang.
Here's our mate Rufio. Post them in chat.
If you are subscribed to the channel, you are legally obligated to post the silver gauntlets. I'm not seeing any so far. It's disappointing.
Hang on, am I subscribed? I should be subscribed.
Both runners have ended up in Kakariko at the same time as an adult. One finishing off the checks, one making his way through the earlier ones. As Tom picked up his bombs, I can definitely see him immediately pivoting up the Death Mountain Trail.
The other thing about getting silver gauntlets nice and early, it means that actually it's looking more and more likely that scale and thus fire arrows are the path.
That's true. Are there any other items required for spirits? Unless
The mirror shield, which we've got.
We don't know where Requiem is, so maybe it locks something that leads to Requiem, but...
Yeah, it could just be a lens example for some logical crossing, thrills.
Yeah. The number of awkward song places for Requiem, not a huge number, sort of, in Ice Cavern or on the Prelude check. That would always be fun.
I was going to say, if it is on the Prelude check, I'm not sure I like that, given that Spirit is the Forest Medallion.
Exactly it, but it can happen though. If Child is dead, if Child Spirit is dead. But two of those songs are locked by Zelda's Lullaby at the moment, which is also AWOL.
Yeah, the Royal Tomb and the Ice Cavern are always locked behind Zelda's Lullaby. Like, that is non-negotiable unless you're playing some sort of entrance rando.
One thing I'll note is that something Tom has over Alexis is, having gone to River as a child, he now has that hookshot for when he goes up to the crater. He's going to be able to get the song while Alexis couldn't. Alexis is going to have to hike back to the crater to pick up the song.
On the flip side, I was going to say Alexis has a bomb bag, so could, if he wanted to, go bowling. Alexis does not want to go bowling. which disappoints me.
Yeah, I guess we were right about the leaving the early child skulls for the next child dip, as those are the market skulls picked up.
TomPouce picking up his banana.
And Alexis... Yeah, it was Lost Brood's Bridge, so Alexis will have the winner of a hint. Is probably not going to be hoping to see a scale. But now has
I can't
that
imagine that
information.
was what he was looking for. I don't know what he probably would have been looking for with 2 strengths and a mirror shield, but can't imagine it was that.
No. I wonder which one will check Tech Grow first. I think the chances are very high that it is the scale path, and that we're probably looking at gold scale in Shadow Temple.
Alright, hear me out. It's the scale path for the Tech-type grotto.
It still could be. Could be, as you
No.
said, if there are multiple items in one location, it increases the chance of it being picked as path.
I don't actually believe that, though. I'm a coward. I think it will just be the scale.
I mean, it's still a spicy enough hint. Scale for fire arrows. I mean, those are 2 items that are very rarely path.
What is the worst item to have as a path item?
To me, it's the bone bags.
The thing is, bomb bag is just it's a good item. I think
It's a good item,
Nocturne's
but it gives
actually
you
right.
no... If it's not for, King Dodongo, then it really doesn't tell you that much.
The worst item to have as a path item is the eyeball frog, because not only does it mean that you've got to go up and do Big Goron, but it also holds you hostage because it means you can't save quit anymore.
That is fair. That's very fair.
Sorry,
Also means
Chuckles.
that also means that your item chain for whatever that path is going to be really awkward, because it means you need blue fire.
Yeah, you need to be able to logically unfreeze King Zora, and that's why it's worse than. That's why the eyeball frog I think is worse than just the prescription. Because if you save quit with the prescription, well, you've still got the prescription. But if you save quit with the eyeball frog or with the eye drops, then you're back to the prescription, and then you've lost yourself some time.
Eyeball frog for letter is always fun. Paradox letter by extension.
Paradox letter once removed.
Yes.
Alexis is cheating his way into Zora's domain.
Yep, it's very
Get
fair.
wrecked,
as
TomPouce.
point. I think TomPouce did the chicken as well.
He did. No, I just mean because TomPouce tried to
did he
jump
get
/
knocked by the
straight
ball?
down
Right.
and mistimed it.
Or I've still never not mistimed it.
Neither have I, but then I've never tried it. So I think we're good.
You've got to try the swag, Benji. Maybe you just don't stream enough. Swag for the stream.
That is true. To be fair, I picked up a It's not really that much of a collector's item today, but you know how if you've got like the Switch and you've got you pay for the expansion pass, you can play N64 games for free. Although it's not for free because you've already paid for them.
Yeah.
Like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Guess what I paid money for today?
Is it a certain collector's item?
I actually bought myself an N64 copy of Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I got mine off of eBay 10 years ago now. I was another latecomer to Majora's Mask.
I like it. The cartridge is gold.
Yeah, but think of how slow it's going to be when you're pushing blocks.
It would be slow if I was playing it on the Switch emulator anyway. So like.
That's true. That's true.
Hold up. What was the letter that Alexis picked up? I saw them pick up another bottle. I didn't realise it was Ruto's letter.
Yes, I didn't notice it was a letter either.
Oh, it's the Lost Woods Bomb Grotto.
So not too out of the way. Jabu is unlikely to be particularly useful for them today, as all dungeons is pretty much dead at this point. By pretty much, I mean is dead.
I mean, it's dead for OOT. We could still have Oops AD. There's our final hint, by the way. Lab Dive dead.
Our last sometimes hint. We've still got 40 and 50 skulls
Yes, correct.
pick up, but that's a lot of. I think I saw that too. Tom's Tom's run of cursed seeds seems to still be going strong.
I definitely remember when stream was loading, someone said, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for 50 skull hovers." I can't remember who that was, but
Congratulations.
kindly sod off. And that makes sense actually, because we didn't see him pick up. We didn't see the hint in the Storm's Grotto because his internet lagged, and that now explains why he's picking up skulls. By the way, shout out to TomPouce picking up 2 wallets in 3 checks.
Just in time to not have enough money to buy a Goron tunic.
It's all right. He got a free.
Picked up the one from Kikiri Forest though.
Yeah, he's already got the dry cleaning. Look, if we can call the Zora tunic the wet t-shirt, I'm gonna call the Goron tunic the dry cleaning, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
I know better than to try. The more you resist these things, the more people make it happen.
It's like nicknames. Like, if anyone hates a nickname, it automatically makes it stick more, I find.
Now with Tom picking up this Strength 1, he now has all of the access for Forest Temple, including Minuet, so...
Tom, you know that's dead, you saw the hint.
I guess he'll check the song in the crater first, finish off the crater checks, probably warp away then. At least that's what I do, but then I came 143rd. They came... and they're in the high 80s.
Well, it's the scale for fire arrows, because I think that's pretty much every other check that is scale locked out, because Greg is lurking in the Tektite Grotto.
Greg in the Tektite Grotto, definitely worth checking. And yeah, that looks like a bomb refill.
Score.
It could be scaled to,
That is a fair point. It could
chat scale to hand in letter. Potentially, it all depends on where Zelda's Lullaby is. Trying to think of which songs could be.
I guess if you need something in Jabu for logical crossing.
Yeah, could be Lens in Jabu. Potentially.
And then Zelda is either on out in the Colossus or on
Need to be
what's that? The prelude check.
We have access.
40's dead, so always love that when you need 50 that you don't actually need 30 or 40 either. So you're just collecting it purely for that last one.
Yeah.
I think that's all the hints, by the way. Not every copy of every hint, but that is every hint that we need.
Yep.
All the skulls, all the other always hints.
Within 40 minutes.
All the sometimes and the path hints. Be friends.
That is Sun Song. Another check down that isn't Zelda's Lullaby. It's getting worrying about where that can be now.
It can't be in. So it can't be in the grave. It can't be in Ice Cavern. So that means it's either Prelude or Requiem, right?
Yep. It has to.
So you definitely need to cross.
This is a crossing. So Lens is required for this seed. Wherever it is.
Logically required. Although it could also still be hard required. I say hard required, like someone didn't nail the 1 in 32 on ZSR at the weekend. It was just a blue pea, so
It
not
would
even
mean
worth it.
that- It does mean that it would be an item in Jabu if it is for the letter. As you can't get to any of the adult checks without Zelda's Lullaby.
Can you not?
Well, theoretically you can do the... No, you can't do that because you can't do the fairy without Zelda's Lullaby.
Oh yeah, fair point. TomPouce is doing a fire dip, I guess, while he's here. He thinks he may as well. See if he's locked out by Hammer or... And again, knows it's progression?
There's more skulls to pick up.
Also
more
skulls.
Skulls to pick up here, you might as well. And, you know... I guess he's been burned by cursed seeds. Maybe this is the vanilla hammer seed.
Monch.
Incredibly unlikely vanilla item, but it can happen. It can happen.
I mean, I was going to say it's just as likely as any other vanilla item. It's not quite as likely as every other vanilla item because some items have multiple copies and logic, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that would be cursed. I don't think I've ever seen a vanilla hammer seed.
It's also locked. The hammer location's also locked behind keys, and there are more hammer locked keys. I believe it places the keys first.
Yeah, like it has to be very unlikely, as you say, to not be hammer locked for keys. So that makes it harder. Sorry, I might have to disappear for a second to keep an eye and make sure that cats behave.
You're being the referee, are you?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Actually, I'm being the seed wrangler, except with herding cats.
It's a hard job, but someone's got to do it. And Tom being the first to enter Forest Temple, as I think was gonna be the obvious play as soon as he picked up that strength. Alexis heading to GTG, maybe immediately crossing instead. With a bomb bag, bow, and a hook shot, you can get a lot of checks in training grounds. Might be worth doing it as a density play. That's true, I did forget that the training grounds are the path to Volvagia, so could be your hammer in there. Probably your hammer in there. There really aren't that many other items that could be here.
I think at this point it has to be hammer or hovers, right?
Well, the hovers are on 50, so it's not that.
Fair point. So it has to be the hammer, right?
Yeah, or something that leads to a hammer, but there really aren't that many items that are locking checks left. Iron boots for hammer and water, maybe. At 50 is well in logic here. I've had 50 seeds that didn't have Zelda's Lullaby, didn't have strength, didn't have bombs. It's surprising how few items you technically need for 50 at times. If you have a hookshot and a boomerang, that's a lot of your skulls sorted. I'm sure everyone's had some cursed seeds with... I do remember one not too long ago, I think it was a Blitz seed that was Ruto's letter, was Path, but it was for 20 skulls. You needed access to Zora's Fountain to get skulls, to get your bombs on 20. Just a few months back, or a couple of months back. Yeah, that was when I had to dip the spoiler log for. And there's our lens. Still no crossing. Well, yeah, crossing's in logic because hovers is accessible. It's just you're not going to be getting hovers anytime soon.
Okay, I think cats should be fine. By the way, I remember the Triforce Blitz seed you're referencing, not because I played it, but because I remember everyone in the Seed of the Day channel going, "Ooh, disgusting, gross,
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
it."
In case you missed it there while you were wrangling cats, we have found our Lens of Truth here
Monka
in
lens.
Gerudo's training
Yeah.
ground.
How
Gale
nice
does
is it, by the
not
way,
lock
to be able to?
lens.
I was going to say to be able to full clear GTG on your first playthrough. Not quite because we don't have the iron boots yet.
There's the hammer. I was about to say maybe hammer is in fire. Maybe hammer is in Spirit Temple to get over there, but
It was the much more boring option.
yeah. Got scale to fire hours. I'm happy with whatever the other hints are. It's spicy enough as is. So we do have logical crossing. At this level of play, I would assume Alexis and Tom can both cross regular, do the regular crossing direction, but without hook or hovers. An annoying trick, but
I'd be extremely surprised if they couldn't Naked Wasteland.
I think it may be another 10 minutes or so at least before Tom is out of Forest Temple.
Alexis is going to have a nice time of day for crossing the wasteland as well. I hate crossing the wasteland in the dark.
Yes, it's awful. Nighttime Wasteland is the worst place in the game. And Ginger, it's that while the crossing the wasteland without the lens is one thing, crossing the river of sand without long shot or hover boots can be awkward. Not a trick I enjoy.
Not if you're Alexis.
Does Requiem need to be in ice?
It doesn't need to be, but it would just be
I
not
would've
very
thought
nice.
Requiem could be in the Composer Grave as well. It just needs to be locked by Zelda's Lullaby, doesn't it? That's me answering a question in chat, by the way.
And I mean, Requiem could also just be here. Did Alexis not get the wasteland hint?
I guess not. But, I mean, you're going down for the skull anyway.
No, I don't think he didn't check the grotto in Death Mountain Crater. But at any rate, yes, you're right. Going down for the skull, so he might have seen it and just forgotten. Nice recall from Poos.
Yes. Ice Caverns, the worst place for any required songs. I think the only potentially required song we need left is going to be Requiem.
I mean, and Zelda's Lullaby.
That too, that's much more limited number of places that can be at the moment, though.
Has Alexis got
And we
lost?
know it's definitely not going to be in ice. Yeah, Alexis isn't using the lens. It's if you know a setup for lensless crossing, it's faster because the ghost does a loop.
I think I'm one of the frog in the throat. I'm one of these people who actually finds reversing easier than going forward without the lens.
100%.
I've got a nice handy setup for reversing that doesn't quite work the other way.
Yeah, I do the reversing by eye, but for some reason I've never been able to replicate it backwards. And there is Requiem on Requiem. So, Zelda's Lullaby, I guess, is going to be on our prelude.
Has to be.
Zealous Spirit.
That's good information. Frogs 2 dead. I think we knew. I couldn't see what that was.
Yeah, I think it was choose. It was blue and it was an odd shape.
Was
think
it
it was-
blue? Okay.
I think it was blue and it was an odd
I
shape.
was going to say eyeball frog because it's funny.
What I'm thinking is with Zelda's Lullaby on Prelude, that gives us a lot of fire-locked checks.
Yeah, I think Alexis went in there and then realised, oh, I don't have Zelda's Lullaby yet.
Yeah.
And had to dip out.
Thing
This
is,
is a good-
it means Zelda's Lullaby is fire-locked, which means Din's Fire would be any of the Zelda's Lullaby checks.
Zelda's Lullaby lock checks. Yeah, that is very true.
Ramped up the
Also, there's a good chance that
Patient
Child
Fruit.
Spirit's required. Because this has
That's
to be a key. For otherwise...
But that isn't too awful, considering both our spawns are at the Temple of Time, and we have our Requiem already.
Also, there could just be a key here.
Yeah, that's useful too. Nothing much in Forest Temple this seed. It is
There never
required
seems to be when it's progression and you get it earlier.
Yeah. That's always the awkward fact of Stone Shadow is when do you do Stone not Shadow, but Stone Forest. When do you do Stone Forest and how much of it do you do?
Isn't the thing to do see whether Baby Shark would clear it or not? Because if Shark's tempted, there's nothing in there, and if she bails, then there's a good item in there. Was that how it worked?
Yeah, I mean that's historically how it's worked. Don't know if you're allowed to confer that way in a race, but like instead of your bumper sticker, what would Jesus do?
What would
Baby
Shark do?
do? That is a lot of keys so far. Alexis is not basically in glow mode. I wouldn't say that. We've got a good idea of what his fire is locked behind, but it Zelda's Lullaby is a lot of things. Is it in Ice Cavern? Is it any of the Great Fairies? Is it just in a Zelda's Lullaby lock check in Spirit that you'd have to redip?
Or is it just here? No. It's double defense, which actually for Alexis is pretty good.
Yeah,
Given
with
that
only
he's
3 hearts.
pretty stoutly refused to open small chests.
How many skulls are we looking at on Alexis' side? 12, so there's another 38 to go. But there are still... The nice thing about it being hover boots is that hover boots...
There's not
only-
really skulls locked behind it.
Yeah, in this seed, it's only really Shadow Temple. It's locking. You can do tricks in Stone Fire Temple to get higher up if needed. You've got pretty much pick of the crop for getting those 50 skulls.
I feel like I see that skull even less than the Song of Time skull.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you've got a long shot. You need the Scarecrow set up. You don't see Scarecrow in Spirit Temple very often.
I'm one of these people who I quite enjoy watching skull seeds, not all the time, but every now and again, because so many...
You're rooting on 50 when it is an item like Hover Boots, as we're saying, that isn't locking much, when they do have the choice of basically all 100 skulls.
Yeah. Like, seeing how runners root their skulls in, I find interesting, but that doesn't mean that I want every skull to be 50 skull, every seed to be 50 skulls or dungeons.
Yeah.
I think every now and again, it's interesting to have in there. It's why whenever anyone says, no one likes doing skulls, we should just get rid of them. I think there is a skill to A, knowing how to pick up lots of skulls quickly,
There's our irons.
and B, also in even if you haven't necessarily had hints for them, getting the feeling that okay, there's something I'm missing something somewhere. It could just be that there's skulls lurking that I can, and I should just pick them up. There is an art to skulls.
Yeah.
But
And
I
just
appreciate if I played a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Flat out things like meringue on 50 skulls nobody likes because
No.
narrows down the number of skulls you can actually do, so all that art form is gone.
Yeah, first hook on 50 skulls. No. I totally see why something like that people would forfeit. Having said that, this is a lot easier for me to say as someone who's never played a 50 skull seed. I've never gone, just through chance, I've never gone more than 30. I think that's partly because I don't play a lot of standard. I mostly play more blitz because it's 2 hours and then I can give up and go home. But I find that I'm one of these players who I like picking up the first. I actively try and route in the first 10 skulls or whatever I can relatively quickly because I'd rather do it and have it be nothing than not do it and miss my path item. Just a bit paranoid like that.
Playing blitz gets you good at getting 10 skulls.
Yeah. Shout out to the boss key being in the basement, by the way. Very last check. Cool. Thank you, game.
Not as big a problem in Forest Temple as you need to go through everything anyway. Not a huge amount in Spirit Temple either that I've noticed. Both Forest and Spirit pretty dead. Dungeons in general pretty dead, other than the Widow Training Grounds.
Alexis did get the double defense, I guess, but the iron boots, which I
the iron
really
boots.
hope we don't need.
Do you see whether it was a small? I haven't got the big key in Spirit Temple yet, have we?
Good question.
I'm assuming that we've got 0 keys. There has to be either a small key or a big key on the
Sunblock room.
Sunblock room. That's the word I'm looking for.
The fact that he's pushing this Armos. I think leads me to believe.
Yeah, it's a check he hasn't done.
It's also fire locked. Shanok understands spirit key logic.
Yeah. I do not.
No.
I understand most of it, and I understand enough to know that it doesn't make sense, but makes as much sense as we can.
And there is the confirmed small key.
Yep.
As TomPouce stakes his claim to play at Roland Garros later in the year.
And is the first to reach 3 medallions. He may not have picked up as much progress as Alexis, missing a strength, missing the hammer, missing the lens, but has that Forest Temple out of the way. It's a long dungeon. TomPouce's tracker, can you mark the... it doesn't matter. Thank you.
I was going to say, Tom's changing time of day because he wants these skulls. This is actually one of the nice things about early Suns. If you don't need skulls, feels like a bit of a bust. If you do need skulls, it's an absolute godsend.
Yes. 50 skulls without Sun Song is just awkward.
Happy 1 hour, by the way.
We got it on time this time.
I actually remember
remembering that.
Ches is bang on the commands. So our runners today, 2 wonderful exponents from the French community, Alexis and TomPouce, our trackers who are covering the notes and the buttons and doing an excellent job, Ginger and Shannock, our race monitor. Who literally else could it be? Like, quite literally, I'm not joking. Who do you think it is who is monitoring these races? Tell me. It's Gutroon, obviously. As it always seems to be. Although, actually, I think Gutroon's not doing some of the other races in this week, so nice for them to get a little bit of a break. Our commentary crew, myself, plus any cats that kind of wander into earshot, and the wonderful KLO, and Velvet, who has been excellent on the commands, is the restreamer today as well.
And one more. And thank you to Pappy Grant, who is doing our French restream. Both these runners are French, but we do appreciate having this cup broadcast to a wider audience.
It's one of the things that I actually really enjoy about the Zoto community is that we have, like, there's a lot of geographic variety, I think. Like, even not just French, but there's a lot of other Canadian francophones. You know, there's a decent Brazilian contingent. Of course, KP, who's in the other semi-final, is from Brazil, and you know, we've got players scheduled all over the place. And it's nice that you can listen to a restream in the language of your choice. Like, there are times when I have listened to commentaries of not just this, but of other sports in the foreign language commentaries, just because I find it really interesting.
Yep, I can understand listening to French and speak it.
Who hasn't ever put on like Hispanic football highlights for the commentators? It's like goal, like that sort of stuff. Like, the style of commentary is so different from different cultures, and I find that genuinely fascinating.
Herbal saying German restreams when? I mean, I guess it's whenever you buy a German dictionary.
Yeah,
You've got a Twitch channel.
we do have a fair few German speakers. I was going to say Germanophones, which doesn't sound anywhere near as nice as Francophones. But
No. Also, I think German's mostly restricted to Germany, so. And they have pretty much swapped runners have pretty much swapped location. Tom is heading to do the same Valley GTG Spirit Temple cycle that Alexis has done, and Alexis has gone back into Forest, or has gone into Forest.
TomPouce visiting the boys, thus setting his respawn point after he death warps.
Yeah, and that is a nice thing about both runners not picking up any small chests, or as few small chests as possible, both on 3 hearts. It does make a death warp a much more palatable option.
Have you ever done this death warp while having like lots of health and double damage, and also accidentally a fairy in a bottle?
Yes, I was doing Scrub Season 4, where you don't have chest size or chest texture matches content, so you end up with like 14 hearts by the end of it.
And honestly, it takes an age.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I finally done it, and then the fairy spawned, and I was like, no.
Yep, that was exactly what it was, except from it was drowning myself with the iron boots.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting the minute and 12 seconds. And Tom getting the delightful news there.
Oh, speaking of F Airy.
Yeah. Then he's got Bomb Chews and only 3 hearts. It's still not a huge amount of time. A little jump there, that was refreshing the stream though.
TomPouce is in the future now.
Clocks have gone forward.
Oh yeah, that'll be it. No, wait, they went. No, they did go forward.
Spring forward and autumn back.
Exactly. The reason I've forgotten is because we haven't gone forward in time yet.
Yeah, we're on the 26th. Oh, believe me, a lot of my job involves coordinating emergency calls around the world. So, anytime daylight savings happens in one area of the world, particularly a country that forgets that other countries exist. Cough, America, cough.
I really enjoy like the weird time zones, like the places that are not perfectly an hour ahead or behind, like half an hour or something.
Paul being 5 hours and 45 minutes ahead.
Give me that sort. Although someone's mentioned like we're in the age of digital clocks now. Why do we even need time zones? Like 11 p.m. can just be night, can just be the middle of the day for someone. That's fine.
The EU has been trying to get rid of daylight savings time for about 20 years, but talks doing it stall every time because nobody can agree which time to set to permanently.
I think America is currently having North America's currently having the same debates.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have states' rights, so Arizona just decided we're going to be a different time to the rest of the country. So Arizona don't do daylight savings, so they are currently an hour different to everyone else.
Amazing.
Yeah, believe me, it's awkward when I've got people in my company working in Arizona.
That's their fault for working in Arizona, to be fair.
It's their fault for living in the South.
I don't remember Alexis checking the fortress roof, but I'm guessing he must have done.
Alexis checked from the jail cell.
Ah, yeah, good point. And Pouce has seen that.
Did not get picked up, as far as I saw.
No, and it also gave him a good opportunity to have a look while he was checking the skull.
Another rare skull here.
This is the good thing about 50. You see the unusual skulls.
Surprised he's not taking the horse, to be honest, but... That is a good point.
Tom Myers not done Rufio. Oh, and that is going to really cost him.
How's he not done Rufio? Saw him do... yeah, well, I mean, he's not got gloves on his hands, so he definitely hasn't.
Yeah, neither runner picked up Rufio on their first go through CAC. But Alexis went back to get it, and he's now got the hammer, which is in the silver block room in GTG, and that's AWOL for TomPouce.
I do hope Tom hasn't forgotten it in that case, because it isn't a normal check to orphan.
No, and you have, I mean, Rufio without hookshot is in logic in these settings.
Yes,
but
yes.
Even if it wasn't, you have the hookshot anyway.
Yep, even in League it's in logic. If he picks it up very shortly after leaving Spirit Temple, it won't punish him as much as it possibly could, because he is going to get the song, regardless of whether he can get into Spirit Temple or not. So he will be getting that Requiem.
Tom drop in the 1640.
That's true. If Rufio does have a hookshot in League, you are legally obligated to announce to the world that that is the long shot.
I'm trying to look if anything interesting happened in 1640.
The French and the English probably were having a fight. So that was about the time they were doing that a lot.
Yeah, that about checks out.
Oh, this is going to act. It's not going to be the Spirit Temple that's the thing that's going to punish Tom here. He's not going to be able to pick up the hammer from the training ground. That was behind the silver block.
He is not. The first book to be published in North America was published. Finland's first university was founded, and the first European coffee house opened in Venice.
Italian coffee, so it must have been good.
I don't drink coffee, but yes, sure.
I drink instant, so it's not like I'm gonna going to be a snob
That's
about
worse
it.
than that's worse than not drinking coffee, frankly.
It's Nescafe Gold. I'm not,
Oh,
you know,
none of
I am partial to when you go into a travel lodge and you get a Henko sachet mixed with tap water. Classic.
uh,
A UHT
other
milk.
instant coffees are available.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. But if anyone's listening, volunteer. Where's the volunteer command? Our Discord. Give us coffee.
By the way, I'm really enjoying all the various 7TV emotes that are slowly and surely being added.
If Dins is in Jabu, the scale path still works. Yes, well, I mean, we know that Zelda's Lullaby is fire locked.
Yeah, so and thus everything locked by Zelda's Lullaby is fire locked. Which is good because we're out of pure fire locked. Oh no, we're not out of purely fire locked checks at this point because we haven't seen the royal. Yeah.
Yeah, it could still be the Composer Grave. Which is doubly fire locked. Because it's Zelda's Lullaby locked.
Yeah, fair point actually. I hadn't thought about that. I don't think Tom wanted that lens.
I think he's happy enough with the lens because it does mean that he now has logical access to the Colossus. Yep. Fire doesn't necessarily need to be fire locked, it just needs to be scale locked. It's just that all fire locks so far are scale locked.
I think Tom was hoping for some sort of health there, because normally you just jump into the fire and respawn at the top of the room.
Yeah, it's isn't a jump that many people practice. You can get back to safe ground with a jump, but not particularly consistently.
I don't think we saw Alexis clear right side GTG, so I guess this is new ground for Tom. Our understanding is that there's nothing here. The light arrows are still AWOL, although there's enough progression that they could just turn up on the way.
Yeah, we've got a entire Shadow Temple that's confirmed very deep in logic, so that's 12 checks? 14 checks, maybe? I've got a notepad document somewhere with it.
It's some checks. Sorry, Tom. There's now in the maze.
Yeah.
It always surprises me that people don't check the maze when they go into GTG.
If you have the bow and hookshot, it's better to go right side and then check it from the room above the maze.
Interesting.
The one near the scarecrow. You can stand near the stairs down to the chest and roll into the wall and can see each chest in the maze from above.
Yeah, that is true. It's a handy peek to learn.
One of these.
I think TomPouce has discovered that there is nothing in here that interests him.
12 items in Shadow, according to my very official notepad document.
That stands up to scrutiny.
Only behind Training Grounds with 13 items, and Spirit and Ganons, which both have 14.
Interesting.
The more you know. And
Tom's gonna cross.
Alexis has caught up on all that forest progress now. So the any advantage Tom had on progress is rapidly declining, and that second strength is burning him with every second.
Yeah, Alexis, I imagine, is just going to clear out some of the skulls in here, and probably go through Lost Woods into fire.
So at the moment, Alexis has a sizable lead. Even if Tom gets the second strength the second he runs out of progress,
It's still more backtracking.
He's got to dip Spirit again. He's got to dip the Training Grounds again. There's a lot he needs to catch up on.
Alexis is just going to go straight into fire. He's not going to beat around the bush. I was going to say it a lot more bluntly than that.
It's fine. 20 skulls for Alexis now. 2/5 of the way there.
That is not as close as I thought he was. God, 50 skulls is a lot of skulls. I might recant my earlier statements.
Alexis
I still
should
believe it.
Should be alright on skulls so far. He's got Fire Temple to do. There's 5 more there. He's picked up some from Forest Temple. There's a good number of easy skulls left as a child for him to pick up. There's what? You can get 1 in the graveyard, 5 in the Nighttime Kakariko, and 4 in Lon Lon Ranch. So that's 10 in pretty short order.
Yeah, you've got Song of Storms, so you could go into the world. There's just also a lot of good item checks there.
Yes. The issue with well skulls is that you need the keys.
You need the keys.
Yeah, they're slow skulls.
Well, there's at least one easier skull there, I guess, and he will in the process of going child, he will pick up Zelda's Lullaby, so he's got everything available in there.
Chat discussing whether it's better to do Fire Temple now or go do Spirit Temple, or go finish Spirit Temple first. Yeah, I can see your points on why you should go do Spirit Temple first, so you can pick up Zelda's Lullaby as fast as possible and then loop in your Lullaby checks.
Yeah, leaving the 2 fairy fountains in the crater and up at the top of the trail is probably quite easy.
Without Bolero. You do have Minuet though, so it is a bit of trekking, but it's not a huge trek. It is a semi-final, as far as you know. That's what, an extra 45 seconds, a minute, going from Minuet to the crater instead of just Boleroing. It's a semi-final in the Challenge Cup.
Every second counts. Yeah, especially when you're against another quality opponent. I'm also just going to disappear for another minute or two and make sure that we're still in cat harmony.
That's fine. I've already seen the bottom of Fire Temple from Tom's side. Now, this is another rarity. This is... Actually, I think this is the first time I've seen Oasis being filled in Desert Colossus in a race. But that is something you can do if you stand on that spot and play Song of Storms. It fills up the Oasis and spawns fairies. quite sure what this peak is from Tom. And it looks like it was a blue rupee on top of the arch and not bomb shoes as thought. Picking up bombs here? How many GTG keys were in the silver block room? There's at least one. There's one small chest, so it's either one or two. So the answer is we don't know. We don't know if toilet is available or not, Dasta. I haven't seen the menu, so I'm not sure if Tom is out of bombs, if this is what this is about. But this is a decent amount of time that's being spent trying to harvest. Does anyone remember how far up the fire temple Tom got? Did he go past the lava room? Was there one key in the hammer? One key in the hammer loop. Makes sense. And Tom admitting defeat to the RNG item drops. And heading for another child cycle. 2 keys in GTG silver block room. Well, it is an item. There is a chance. Verdins. Yeah, iron boots. Makes sense. Don't know if Colossus Fairy's anything. We've not got Zelda's Lullaby yet. I don't think it'll be that far off the mark once Alexis has got all his spooters out of Fire Temple. He's already set the Scarecrow, so we can go get the 2 Scarecrow, the 2 Skulltulas up in the DLC room. And I think this is our first check of Richard. I don't remember seeing it on Alexis' side. Oh, Tom, I think Tom's chasing this, lens in GTG. Get your guesses in chat. It could still be lights. You never know. And we have right first. Good chunk of us still in. Right, left. Lights could be here, lights could be anywhere, although I think it's a decent chance at this point that it's going to be in Shadow Temple. Right, left, left, left. Janox still in. And unfortunately, no winners today. Do better.
I have returned with Void.
With a void. One of many.
One of 4, somehow.
One of 4 voids. We have not seen anything. Unfortunately, you missed the treasure chest game, so we'll never know if you would have got the 1 in 32.
What was it?
Nothing.
No, I mean, what was it?
It was right, left, 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 left.
I wouldn't have won.
Yeah, it's not your go-to.
No. Nothing on bowling either. Disappointing.
No, market pretty dead, although there's not many items left to pick up. It's only really lights that are still completely unlogicked.
Gatroon, for people who want pictures of my cats, there are some in the Discord. Hashtag plug.
The Discord, plug the Discord. Thank you, Velvet. Yes, we do have a Discord. It's pretty active. If you are new to Ocarina Time Randomizer, there are resources there for you. If you are an old hand at Randomizer and just want to speak to more people, it's also good.
Okay, I'll get some more cat photos, especially when the stream's finished.
Preferably not when they're at war.
Then they weren't warring. They were just having a. Oh, watch my drink, please. Just having a little tiff. Goodness, it's sometimes it's not a huge house for 4 cats, especially because they are all. They're all kind of rehomed. So, Obviously, they come with various baggage. The current cat on desk has half an eye, for example.
Half an eye.
Yeah. He's also very stupid, but we don't hold that against him.
I think if we're honest, a lot of the cats are.
Sorry, he was just reaching out to jump onto the chair and just fell straight off the desk.
It is not the Silver Gauntlet's official position to mock the blind. This is Benji's his own shortcoming.
Oh, I love him. He's such good value. He's brilliant. I highly recommend everyone getting fosters, getting rehomed, getting the wonky ones. Like obviously it can be more work than getting your, but I find it really rewarding, although I appreciate that not everyone's necessarily in a position to do that.
You would say more rewarding than a normal cat, but there are no normal cats.
And I've also never owned a normal cat, so I can't actually comment.
Alexis with a smooth Master Sword Volvagia there, using the bomb strat with a 1 cycle.
Yeah, nice and clean. So this is progression that Alexis is getting over TomPouce because his hammer is in the silver block room in GTG, and he does not have strength 2 yet. Although actually he's in Kakariko, and he can just do the side hop from the top of the tower to meet Rufio.
He can. Hopefully he remembers, or he can find strength 3 on 10 skulls.
Or he could do that, yeah.
Gonna be very useful for him. What are the chances he goes and does Rufio anyway?
See, I'm not calling that a bailout, because I kind of think generally bailouts don't. It never quite works like that. But that is a very handy to have. Although he might just pick up the other strength here and feel rather silly. But all of those strengths were in logic very early.
That's she will be climbing the ladder.
Yeah, I don't think that 1 on 10 skulls is quite. Oh, actually, it might technically be sphere 0. So
10 sphere 0, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously you usually require a bit of up and down to get it. Come on, Tom.
And it's never a bailout getting strength 2 because you never know when lights are on light trial.
Yeah, 100%. Or OGC or whatever. And like that, and even in hell, there was a top 64 race at the weekend between two of the best runners in the community, and it all came down to strength 3. Like, that happens in seeds.
Incoherent, that sounds right. 12 skulls in Sphere 0. It's early. It's somewhere between 10 and 15.
Here's the double DC dip for Alexis to pick up the extra skull. No Armos push. Sad. Yes, the famed Rufio 50 skull seeds.
We don't know if it's a Rufio 50 skull seed yet.
Oh, that's true. It might not be a Rufio 50 skull seed.
It might not be Rufio. Rufio had something, and it has had something that paid off for Alexis, but it was not required. As of yet. Still don't know where light arrows are.
I like this from Tom. Your child now, may as well get child spirit because there's a good chance that you might need it. Especially if you don't have Zelda's Lullaby yet.
Yep, and you know where Zelda's Lullaby is at this point. You know you need to beat Spirit Temple for it. The strengths were in the Goron Boulder Maze.
Yeah, right side chest. Yeah.
And on Rufio. Yeah, you do Child Spirit now because you're going to be going Spirit Temple immediately after going Adult because you're going to be hoping that your hammer's here as well. Because even though Tom now has that strength 2, he still has to go back to the training grounds to pick up the hammer. Strength 2 locked there.
Yeah, a big question is going to be when does he go back and get that? Oh, to be fair, it's been hinted.
It's been hinted, but he's picked up the lens, and the entirety of Spirit Temple is lens locked.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And so is Zelda's Lullaby.
That's the tricky thing, isn't it?
There are a lot of things lens locked in this seed, so it's a matter of does he go back to training ground to clear up checks in the hopes that it isn't the lens that's path, or is it going to be? Is he going to chase down those lens lock checks?
Feels like that's going to have a big bearing on the outcome of the seed.
Yep.
There are
options. There are options, and neither of them is wrong. There are fewer items. There are fewer checks left in the training ground than ones that are locked by the lens. They're all in one place. Really, it's a coin flip whether you do it or not. I did enjoy the runners high-fiving there.
Me too. I thought that was good.
Both using the boomerang for some reason.
I'll tell you the reason. It's because they use it to pick up the skull on this right side child, rather than trying to do it from this side.
Goes the way you want. The boomerang always goes the other way.
Oh, I hate the boomerang. Right? I'm not saying I'd do it. I'm just saying that's why they did it.
Warping to... Has it been measured that Nocturne is the shortest warp song? Is that why everyone uses it? For
the shortest?
Yeah, Tom Nocturning out of Spirit there to save quit back to the Temple of Time.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm surprised that that's quicker than some of the others.
I would have thought it'd be between it and Minuet.
I'd have thought Serenade because it's only 5 notes.
Yeah, but they're very slow notes in the song.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Also we don't have Serenade this seed yet.
We don't have Serenade, but we're talking theoretically, just generally, because I've noticed quite a lot of people use the Nocturne if all they want to do is get out of a dungeon. And again, I'm a weirdo who uses Nocturne for Furor's Winding as well.
Most people, I see a lot of people use Minuet for that.
Minuet is timed as the shortest one, but that implies that you can aim a hook shot, which I can't always do consistently.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel that. 35, by the way, for Alexis now, so he's quickly ramping up.
Yep. Personally, I'd be heading to Lon Ranch after this. You can head to Lon Ranch, you can pick up the Spider Grotto outside Kakariko. It's an extra 5 to get you to 40.
Did I even check the Redead Grotto?
Yes, Alexis did. I don't think Tom did. Oh, Tom must have, because I think he did it on the way to Dodongo's Cavern. And then missed out Rufio.
I mean, at the moment, it's fine. But it's just lost in
at the moment, it's not
time.
Well, I'd
rather
say
than...
at the moment, it's not burnt him, but we know it has severely burnt him compared to Alexis' route.
It's just get the bomb bag. I'm gonna go while I've got the bomb bag. Just go and
Progress.
do the Dodongo's Cavern. Get it done. Yep.
You don't need to loop around CAC for the chat. You can jump off the roof back towards Dodongo's Cavern, but you know,
it's one of the things when you come
if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it.
When you
come at progress, you go to progress.
Yeah, when you come at it from the graveyard, straight from Nocturne.
And you know, I'll say it. I've messed up Kakariko routing multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times when I've gone at it from a non-standard approach. You know, normally adult Kakariko is early. You go from market as adult to Kakariko, and you do the same loop all the way through. If all of a sudden you're starting from the graveyard, or you have to change the route halfway through after you pick up bombs, it's stranger things have happened than forgetting your muscle memory.
I think that's part of the reason why there's a portion of the community that likes the random spawn starts, because it means that your first 20 minutes of a seed is not just on rails. Like, if it's always vanilla child start, for example, like, you know what happens. The start of every seed is always the same. Like, that's kind of nice in a way. Like, depending on what the logic is of the seed, like with Triforce Blitz, for example. I know I keep talking about this, but you know, it is set up specifically so you start adult at Temple of Time and you get the path count on the hints outside. Like that. That's just how the game mode works. But yeah, I think certainly from a commentary perspective, random spawns is a lot more interesting.
Yeah, random adult spawns can result in some cursed logics, though.
I like those.
Random child spawns, not so much. I think the only random child spawn that I can think of that causes any sort of cursing would be spawning in Crater.
I've done it in Domain before and had like logical domain access be in Domain.
One of the Scrub Season 4 asyncs they were introduced in the settings had Zelda's Lullaby on Ice Cavern. Yep, that's the one Velvet just mentioned.
Oh yeah, I like that. By the way, hello, and various raiders, welcome in. Challenge Cup Season 6 Semifinals Game 1 between Alexis and TomPouce.
Appreciate the authentic French accent. I'm sure any French speakers in the chat do as well. Although if there
Maybe.
are any French speakers that have just raided, we do have a French restream of this over at Grant's channel. There we go, I've just popped it in the chat.
D'accord.
Pamplemousse.
There's one of those words in other languages that people know just because it's not because it has any useful or interesting meaning, just because it's fun.
Sometimes you want to order a pamplemousse.
I mean, I've never wanted to order a pamplemousse, but theoretically, yes. It's grapefruit, by the way, for those who are not au fait.
Pamplemousse is a grapefruit.
Which, by the way, who called it a grapefruit? Like, what a terrible name for a fruit. There's already a fruit called a grape. It's like they were, it was like Friday afternoon and they're all thinking about going to the pub and it's like, we'll call it a grape. We've got one of those. We'll call it a grapefruit. All right, done. Get the beers in.
I mean, I can't say I know who was on the committee for it, so... And yes, there are 6 fairies. There are 2 that give you magic, there are the 3 spells, and there is double defense.
Outside the Hyrule Castle Fairy is Din's. The outside Ganon's Castle Fairy is double defense. I can never remember which of the others is which.
Fountain gives you Ferora's Wind, Colossus gives you Nehru's Love, and the Crater and Trail give you magic.
Excellent.
And that is a true fact, Incoherent. Set is the word with the longest dictionary entry in the English language.
That is interesting.
There are so many different variations of meaning.
Learning with ZSR. ZSR with TSG.
Yeah, don't say you never learn anything here.
I also need to do some learning, apparently. I was thinking of other interesting linguistic facts. Like, I think OUGH has like 17 different ways of being pronounced. Like, who decided that you could pronounce OUGH up? Like, ridiculous. By the way, this is all distracted from a really clean Twin Rover fight for Alexis.
Yeah. And there is an element of luck to Twin Rover, but that was just a very good one.
And yeah, there's luck in terms of where they are and can you aim them properly, but you can manipulate them to some degree, and there's also still, you make the one cycle on the second phase. Yep. Like, this is interesting. Yeah, I get it. Alexis only has 1 bomb, so take the refill. It's only 5 more, but better than nothing. Tom, I was going to say Tom saw the right hand from the left hand, but Tom did not see the right hand from the left hand from the right hand, because you can't. TomPouce did the right hand and then dropped back down.
Did forget about not having Zelda's Lullaby there. It's muscle memory. I do it every time. I have a ZLS spirit as well. One of the hands was hinted. Left hand, I think, was hinted dead.
It was hinted dead, yeah. Good,
isn't it?
Good memory. That is the adult hand. And the way to remember it is the left hand is the one on the left.
Correct. And chat, if you are struggling with which hand is your left hand and which hand is your right hand, if you hold them palms away from you, the left hand forms an L with your index finger and your thumb. Again, don't say you never learn anything in these chats.
I never learn anything in these chats.
It's
I
true.
knew that already.
Zaria's must be Zelda's Lullaby locked.
Sorry.
Din's on Skull Kid.
Sorry, Tobias. The left hand goes in the square hole. What the hell? I don't even... Is there a reference here that I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing something.
You've been on the internet, Benji. The old reference. And that's a big chest in the Composer Grave.
That is a big chest in the Composer Grave.
It's arrows.
That's bow percent, by the way.
That is 50 arrows.
Yeah, I genuinely also don't know what Tobias was referring to there. Like, I am a creature of the internet, and yet I still didn't know. Here's Sarius,
It's
by
a
the way.
very short video. It's a short video, Instagram or TikTok or one of these children's.
I was gonna say, you think I go on TikTok? Like the kind of the official quote unquote Zoota age bracket. You can be any age to play Zoota, but it's like late 20s, early 30s. It's too old for TikTok.
Excuse me, I'm pretty sure this is a 7+ game.
Hey, I said it wasn't exclusive. I did say it wasn't exclusive for that. Also, if you can find me a 7-year-old who can explain spirit key logic, like that kid is should be definitely in higher age groups. There's Serenade.
No, children are great with things like spirit key logic. Look at how many grandmasters in chess there are, like 13 years old.
Fair point. Yeah. Okay. I retract it.
This is the kind of thing that children are good at. These weird logic puzzles. That and working in mines. Those are the two things children are good at.
As someone who lives in Wales now, can confirm there's a lot of small houses for all the small people they send down the mines. Whoops, Tom, I'm not sure you want to be down there.
You do when you're avoiding climbing back up into an ice pool.
Fair.
It's as good a place as any to take a break, I guess.
Oh, he might just be taking a break. Oh, he's back.
I forgot you could delay the second phase by not being on the platform.
Why would you want to?
If you want to take a small break.
You know what? Fair. That totally makes sense.
Alexis, now dipping back into Spirit Temple. Let's see if it's a required double dip. Each of these could be your Din's Fire, equally as likely as any of the other Firelock checks.
Okay, Tobias. Now that you've shown me the video, I have seen this video.
One check left in the Spirit Temple.
It goes in the square. Okay, everything is making sense. I'm learning so much.
You are now cultured. It was bombs on. I remember,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It is a bomb refill.
One more chance for Din's Fire here in the Spirit Temple.
Yeah, so far the double dip hasn't really paid off.
Yeah, it's nothing. But you've got Requiem, it's not too... You know, it wasn't really far out of the way. You were going to pick it up at some point.
And now we know as well.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Tobias, now every time everyone's like, which check was hinted, unfortunately I am going to remember the left hand goes in the square hole. Why have you cursed my brain? Why would you do that? For a moment I thought Alexis was going to fill the Oasis.
Yeah, we already had it once in this seed. Amazing if we got it twice, but... Yes, Shaynok is currently counting down the number of locations left for Dins, because we've got pretty heavy logic on where it could be. Unfortunately, that heavy logic still resulted on a lot of stuff. Yes.
Yeah, the bad news, Sean, is hovers on 50.
Hover boots are on 50, and strength 3 will be on 10 skulls for Alexis.
Levers, please. Levers, low key,
my
awful.
least favorite skulls. It's one of the good things about Master Quest Spirit is that there is a room specifically designed to kill levers.
Really?
Yeah, so you know the
Ooh.
room with the Wolfos?
The
Sand
first,
underground.
the first adult
Yeah.
room left side.
Yeah. In Master Quest, that's near the end of the dungeon, and you go in it, you go to the sand at the bottom, and levers spawn, and you have to kill a purple lever.
There's
Spawn
a
the
purple
chest.
lever.
Have you never spawned the purple lever? If you kill enough levers, it spawns a special one.
No, generally I just walk away from them.
You followed Navi's advice to just let them go by. You weren't overcome
Yeah.
with the bloodlust.
No. I couldn't be bothered. Nothing on the
Next
Nehru's
will be
ferry.
next will be telling me you've never seen the giant skull kid.
The what? Is this part of NPC size matches contents?
Technically, yes, because they do drop more money, and I have killed giant skull kid in a race because they drop 20 rupees.
So they drop even
So
less money than the actual.
if you kill enough skull kids, a bigger skull kid will appear. If you kill it and then kill more small skull kids, an even bigger Style Child, sorry, not skull kid. Style Child.
Oh, okay.
Which is an awkward name considering they picked the child that literally has a skull for a head and didn't call that Skull Kid.
Hey, there are enemies in this game who are literally bubbles, and they're not called bubbles. Like,
Yeah, but bubbles were introduced in
I think they're in the first one, right?
2.
Or is it Zelda 2?
Maybe Zelda 1.
A long time ago.
Yeah. Before
Well, we'll
this.
stick to that.
How many is Alexis on now? 41. Which dungeons are left? Deku, Jabu, and Water. None of those you want to go in for skulls.
Not really.
No.
Like, for Deku or Jabu, it means an age change, and I think Alexis is ideally done with that at this point. And Water, it's just not great for skulls.
Did Alexis go to Lon Ranch?
Don't think so.
Yeah, there's an extra 3 for him there.
Ice Cavern.
Ice Cavern does have 3. Ice Cavern would be a very good place to go for your skulls, actually, considering that Zelda's Lullaby locked, so it's the entirety of Fountain and... the entirety of Adult Fountain and Ice Cavern could be Din's locations.
You pick up Prelude at the end of it, but that doesn't really matter because both save quits are at the Temple of Time.
Yep. Yeah, Din's could possibly be in the Deku Tree. Don't know where the Kakiri Sword is yet. And at this point, the Kakiri Sword's probably Zelda's Lullaby locked. Or at least scale locked.
Speaking of Zelda's Lullaby locked checks, here's the Din's Fountain Fairy.
Yep, one more of the fairies. Think this is our third?
Yeah, I buy that. Here's a thought. Obviously, Alexis hasn't checked it yet because they're not going to check any of the skulls until they get 50, I guess. But could well be outside Ganon's castle.
True, it could be. That's another Zelda's Lullaby lock. That's the issue with Zelda's Lullaby being deep in logic. Usually one of your paths is pointing towards it, and there's a lot of stuff in the game that's locked by it. You know, we've got a great idea of what Din's Fire is locked behind, but unfortunately it still leaves us with 2/3 of the game.
It's like it's the same when there's a bomb bag deep in logic. Like,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, that was why I was
frustrating.
saying a couple of hours ago that my least favorite math item is a bomb bag because of that specific reason. It doesn't give you any information. It gives you minimal information.
It's like, oh, great! It's locked by a bomb bag. Okay, let me see what that rules out.
Yes,
Oh,
everything I
nothing.
haven't done yet.
Okay, yeah, okay, brilliant. Here's Saria for TomPouce, and he's child, so he can check Skull Kid. Doesn't need to check Dancing Dad because sadly it's hinted. Or they might check it anyway for the Larks / they forgot.
Yeah, it looks like Alexis is going to be doing what we thought and heading into Ice Cavern for skulls and Lullaby Lock checks. I think we have skipped forward to the Fountain Fairy at the moment.
Yeah,
Easy skip is banned. Is banned.
I know.
That's a point. That is another point. If there is Dins here, Tom doesn't have that letter yet.
Where was the letter?
The letter was in the Lost Woods Bomb Grotto. I remember because we missed it as well.
Yes, that is true. By the way, shout out to the eyeball frog just chilling there on the iceberg.
But then Tom could pick up Din's Fire here. I'm not sure if picking up Din's Fire here is going to be good or bad for him, because that just means more time spent not going to GTG.
This is also one of quite a few skulls, I think, that are affectionately named Worst Skull.
Yeah, this is the Skull Sanity Seed. The only time you see it.
Interesting seeing Tom dip into the well. We haven't seen this yet from Alexis.
Either of them. Nope, this is the first well dip, but that's because Alexis just had a consistent stream of progress to do, and with knowing what your Zelda's Lullaby,
Pick the frog. Pick. Oh, don't leave him there. He's lonely.
he's chilling. He's chilling on his rock.
Did you make that? I was going to say, was that an intentional pun? I hope so.
It was.
Excellent. By the way, shout out to French internet.
This is why we left the EU.
I think in the past, Alexis has legitimately, like when he was having real internet problems, he legitimately streamed under the Twitch account Lagsland. Which, fair enough.
Yep, Tom picking up extra keys here, so we are going to see extra skulls here, the DLC skulls.
Like, it's again one of the reasons why 50 skull seeds every now and again are interesting, because you see the more unusual skulls.
Yep. You very rarely see people climbing a tree in Lake Hylia. There are a number of skulls there.
Oh, that one, yeah, I know the one you mean.
The one on top of the tree next to the Serenade pad. So there's a good amount. There's a good amount of progress Tom still needs to make up for. That hammer is the thing that's burning him a lot here. Alexis does have a sizable lead, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. It is the hammer that he's really struggling with. By the way, thank you for pointing it out, chat. Happy 2 hours.
Happy 2 hours, everyone.
For some reason, they put the commentators first. So, sure, myself plus any feline that walks in the vicinity, Benji, and the wonderful KLO. Trackers are Ginger and Shannock. Race monitoring is Gutrune. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but obviously. Velvet is restreaming today, and our runners are, of course, Alexis and TomPouce. And there's Johnny. Hashtag
That
all as
was
sexy or whatever.
Din's Blue Fire.
Oh my god, can you imagine? I mean, they're putting blue fire arrows in, so why not? Why not blue Din? Why not Din's
It's
blue fire?
Alexis,
Goodbye, bugs.
Cold-heartedly killing the bugs. Nope, Din's is not in the WoW today, unfortunately. This is a potential Din's chest. The suspense, and I guess we'll never know.
I think the fact that he's gone back over here to pick up more blue fire indicates to me that it was not Din's fire.
Yeah, I doubt he'd be pushing the rest of Ice Cavern for Prelude.
Oh, there was a big chest there as well, in the well.
What was it? I didn't notice. Sorry.
No, I didn't see either.
It was a big chest, but I wasn't looking at. I was looking at the Alexis screen. And ice
is that another big chest in ice?
No. We know the last one's dead, so.
Maybe he pushes through to the final room, picks up the skull,
The
and then, or he might just bail here.
I think he's probably going to pick up the other skull. Well, it wasn't a bomb bag. I know that much.
Honestly, I hate ice keys. Nobody, like, they're awful.
Big on Keith sanity. Random Keith.
I genuinely think that would be quite hype.
See, Tom has already got a hint for Hammer. GTG is path to...
He hasn't seen it.
Has he not?
It was in the Lost Woods Bomb Grotto.
Was it? Ah. I did not notice that.
So this might push him just straight back to GTG.
It could
or at
do.
least formalise it
He
more
has-
in his thoughts.
Yeah, it'll formalise it more in his thoughts, but the issue is that the lens locks a lot this seed. And he knows the lens within GTG.
Just some love from King Zora.
Yep. 2 wallets were available, but Alexis only has 1 of them, so we will be seeing what's in King's Roar today. And that's 49. 1 more.
What's his final score going to be?
Is that a bomb bag?
It looks round.
It's Deku Nut.
No. Alexis
He's in the
feels pretty far. Feels like he's got a
Alexis is
decent
substantially
lead.
in the lead.
Yeah. The reason why is because TomPouce missed a strength on Rufio in Kakariko. He has since got strength 2 from 10 skulls. And as such, when he went out to GTG and then over to Spirit, did not have 2 strengths required to get to push the silver block in GTG, and thus has not picked up his hammer.
Yep, exactly right. It all has all come down to one check so far. Other than that, the routing has been pretty different for both of them, but has worked out pretty well for both of them as well. Other than... Oh,
Deku's
that
back
is
in.
Kakiri's sword. That's Deku tree is now a possibility for Dins.
It wouldn't shock me if Tom went and did that now, because there's a few skulls in there.
Oh, I can definitely see that. I mean, you're in Lost Woods. the Deku tree is right round the corner.
You can also see maybe one of the rarest of DLC skulls, the one in the back of Deku.
That's true. We've got bombs. We've got a boomerang. Unfortunately, at 39 skulls, there are four skulls in the Deku tree. Although 3 of them are the easy ones. Not sure we will see the 4th. Shouldn't be too much time for Tom to catch up on skulls, but still needs that hammer.
Yeah, at this point, we might end up with Oops AD, just so we can. There's Ruto's. Just
Yeah, somehow
because
I
we're
doubt.
running out of checks. By the way, there's the GTG to Volve hint for Tom.
Yeah. How heavily will that lay on his mind?
It's 40 for Tom. So he's.
I thought he was warping away for a second there, and got very confused why he wouldn't be doing the Deku tree.
No, using Suns to change the type of day so that he can pick up these extra skulls here. Dastar's very much enjoying having 7TV powers. Other independent emote enablers are available. I mean, where do we realistically think Dins is going to be? Kyrie, by the way, you're bang on it. His hovers on 50.
Long shot, I'm guessing that's what was in ice. Good spot, Shinnok.
If he's got the long shot now, that makes sense. And thankfully, the stream adjustment there meant that we missed Alexis missing this jump first time round. So don't worry, we got you covered.
Yeah, I think the Deku tree is a good shout for where Dins is, and there's a big chest straight away. With Azor Tunic.
It's the wet t-shirt. Look, if Dins is actually in the toilet, then I think everyone gives up and goes home, right? It's just emote spam in chat forever.
Yeah. They might as well pack up. No point doing the other semis.
I think at this point, I want it. I didn't want to get sucked in by it, but the fewer checks we have available, the more I want it.
Yes, someone did curse this seed very early, calling for hovers on 50.
It's not even like, oh, well, there'll be an important item on 50. Specifically hover
Specifically
boots.
the hovers. Yeah.
Matt, the reason Dids can be there is because we're down to 16 checks or something like that. And we know that it has to be behind...
It has to be behind the scale. Which, locked the... Yeah, Dins has to be locked behind a scale. And our fire arrows were locked behind a scale. Which
and the fire arrows are recruited for
completion
spirit
of-
key logic. Yeah.
Which locked completion of spirit as well as the iron boots in spirit. And spirit locked your Zelda's Lullaby. So there's a significant amount of the game has been locked by that scale.
I wonder at what point Alexis might feel that he wishes he had the Zora tunic that Tom picked up. Or alternatively, Alexis is just good and doesn't need it.
Only a key, a small key.
Oh, hi, Gaima.
It looks like Alexis may be following in Tom's footsteps here. Can't see. I'm trying to think of many checks.
Bye, Gaima.
You know what? Goron Pot. Goron City. Child Goron City. You know, the...
It is S6.
Darunia's is locked, but, you know, the nightmare that is Child Goron City in Season 6 is still alive.
It's gonna be the... cover your ears, children. It's gonna be the fucking Goron pot again, isn't it? Jesus.
Vanilla Emerald to go alongside our Vanilla Fire Medallion and our Vanilla Shadow Medallion.
I prefer Emerald speed choice. Oh, sorry. Kakiri Emerald. Right, I'm with you.
That's true, it's true. Looks like Alexis will be going to be well first. Yeah, going to the training ground as soon as possible if you're Tom. That's objectively the correct decision, but that's because we know where the items are. It's a good play, but there's still a lot of places that hammer can be that are lens locked. There's arguments for both of them, but it looks like you will be clearing out Spirit, then the...
Maybe reverse to GTG?
He'll be reversing to GTG.
He's just reversing to GTG. He did already clear the rest of Spirit.
Okay, right, yeah. I thought only Alexis had done that.
So for Tom, so it feels like at the moment Alexis's lead is basically as much time as it takes Tom to get the hammer from GTG and then clear fire, which is probably a good 10 minutes.
It wasn't that high in fire, but I can see it being 10 minutes because Tom still has skulls to collect. He'll be hoping.
And there's no Bolero.
He'll be hoping that he picks up a hammer in GTG so he can then pick up remaining skulls from Fire Temple. Because he can get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 nice and easily from Fire Temple. That puts him up to 47. Be surprised if we see... Oh no, we can't see an Ice Cavern play from him because he hasn't handed in the letter.
And you can't KZ skip.
You cannot KZ skip in... Nope, you cannot KZ skip in Season 6 under penalty of death.
I mean, disqualification, but that's basically death.
Yeah. One or the other.
I like how anytime you talk about KZ skip, it's now like Let him KZ
Chorus
skip
of
appears in chat.
Let him KZ skip, which is just
In the
text
same way,
free.
anyone talks about Jabu, it's Dies of Big Octo comes out. In fact, sometimes even when you don't talk about Jabu, Dies of Big Octo appears. It's
And
just a
let's
good
see what was
emote.
in the well. There's another bomb bag.
Big bomb back. Alexis doesn't see anything he likes.
Nope. As Alexis had fewer items, can spend a lot less time in the well. Oh no, wait, there was a ZL locked key. He does have to spend the full time in the well.
There's also a big chest ZL locked on Dead Hand. Not that he's going to enjoy what's on it.
And hammer coming up for Tom here. I think there's much left for him to check, unless he does go check the toilet after this.
I'd be surprised.
I mean, it's an option for Dins. But it looks like he is skipping it. It makes sense. It's a lot of time investment for one check. Especially when you've got skulls to pick up. He has progress to do.
Progress.
I would not consider picking up skulls progress. Finding Dins, progress. Skull 40
Picking up the
out of
skulls.
50, not so much.
Yeah, picking up the skulls to get hover boots, not so pog.
And a blue Dins fire for Alexis.
It's not quite pot versus toilet, but it's not far off.
We're narrowing down the number of checks. Jabu is a possibility.
Not a good possibility, but a possibility. 4 slow checks there.
Have we seen the fairies on Trail and Crater?
Don't know if we have.
I don't think we've seen the fairies on Crater because because Alexis went there before picking up Zelda's Lullaby. No, neither magic fairy has been checked.
He's going to go back in. We're going to see Child Zoron. I've put them through the fusionator. We're going to get Child Goron City, I think, in a sec.
Are you smelling burning toast?
Oh, I might have left the toaster on. That's fine.
Now, the nice thing for Tom here is that Alexis does seem to be following in his footsteps on this Dins hunt. So that is time he can use to catch up on fire progression.
It will give Alexis the last few skulls he needs.
Correct. Well, he's only got 1 skull left.
The last skull he needs.
Don't think he's picked up the adult Kakariko one yet, though. As Knight, that's usually my last one. So I don't think he's chasing skulls. This is just Zelda's Lullaby lock checks. I get a big smile on his face when he sees that big chest in the map. Not so much when it's a Zora Tunic, then he's already done water.
He's done the one check that logically requires Zora Tunic. Yeah, it's the wet t-shirt. All going very, very pink with his choice of tunics today.
It's evening up. I wouldn't say it's even up, but you know, Tom is doing progress now. This really does come down to how long does it take Alexis to find that Din's fire. This is his race to lose. Fire big key is in upper Goron maze.
Well remembered.
I remember because it's right after the Scarecrow Skulls.
Have we seen all of Fire Temple?
We've not seen all of Fire Temple, but not all of Fire Temple is locked. Actually, none of Fire Temple's scale locked, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
The
okay,
hammer
that's
was-
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. In terms of big chests that we could potentially still be baited by, we've got the third bomb bag. We've actually got
Light arrow.
all else. Yeah, well, that's not bait because we do need those, although
Well,
it's not
bait.
dins. I see your point.
But light arrow could be anywhere. These could be deep in fire.
The other scale,
I think
FW.
the chances of the other scale being in shadow are very high at this point.
Yeah, and Big Goron as well. So there's only
Big Goron, true, yeah.
there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6 big chests left at this point. That's not a lot.
Yep, and as far as memes go, I think it's only the winner heart piece we haven't seen.
And at this point, we're not seeing it.
Yeah, I don't think many small chests will be opened. And there is still Water Temple. We haven't seen all of it.
No, we didn't see the Dark Link loot.
Nor the push block chest, I think.
Alexis might have peeked it, but I didn't see what it was.
Yeah, I was stuttering a bit at the time. Come with a slightly different setup for the strengthless jump.
Yeah, I assumed that he didn't mean to fall off the edge.
No.
If he did, it's a strange strat, one I'd probably put back in the locker.
It's, personally, I'm not a fan of strats that use bomb pushing. So, dropping a bomb to nudge you slightly. I've not had any success with them compared to... It's fast, as that one showed. But I've found they're a lot less consistent.
Come on, Alexis. You got baited into Lost Woods. Into Deku. Show us Child Goron City. Show us the Goron Pog.
It's where he's going. There's no point not to. It's the only child check left that's a possibility as far as I'm aware. Darunia may be hinted dead, but without a fire source, this is hard Zelda's Lullaby locked.
Did Alexis ever get any chews?
Not sure.
Because if he did, then there are some chew strategies here that make picking up both the pot and Hot Rodder not so bad.
You don't need to pick up Hot Rodder. Hot Rodder is not an option for Dins. Maybe an option for Lights, but...
Yeah, you're right, it's not scale, and thus fire or CL locked. But yes, it could
or
still
half
be...
the game locked.
Yeah. But it could still be light arrows, which we do need.
I don't think anybody's going to be... a nice action shot on Alexis' side there. But yeah, I don't see anyone looking for lights until they get the hint from Ganon. And the pot is dead, unfortunately.
Don't buy a shield. He's not checking Hot Rodder.
Yeah, no reason to. You're going to get a hint from Ganon.
It would really suck if he said Goron City, though, because you've got no age change. But yes.
True, but, you know, there are a lot of possibilities for where the light arrows are. And the two key places are the 14 checks in Ganon's Castle and the 12 checks in Shadow Temple.
Is he going to check Child Fishy?
No, I think we're seeing a Jabu play.
We are seeing a Jabu play. This is like 2.5 hours going into Stone Jabu because you've got nowhere else to go. This sucks. Like, I'm not saying that he's making. I'm not saying it's a bad play. I'm just saying that it sucks to have to do it.
Yeah, we're down to the dregs here. But the nice thing is, if you find Din's Fire in Stone Jabu, it doesn't matter what time you pick it up. You're not going to go, oh no, my opponent must have rushed this.
Yeah.
There's no chance that you're not both last locationing it. Yes, so Jabu is not fire locked, but it is scale locked because you need either Zelda's Lullaby or a scale to get into Zora's Domain. And you need
Zelda's Lullaby was scale locked.
Lullaby. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of these things when the path is long and you get an early one.
Alexis with the 2 dive. Yo.
That is I've done it once. It feels good. RNG smiling upon Alexis today. And has been blessed with a big chest.
It's not the big chest he wants.
Although, can't remember what this is. The other magic, that's what it is. Yeah, there are worse things to find late in a seed. When you know you need to do Shadow and then Ganon's Castle directly afterwards. Having a second magic, you know. Better than a kick in the teeth.
Tom's Vol fight is not going as well as Alexis's did.
No. Alexis did have a very smooth Volvagia fight. No, it's not an all dungeons seed, this one. It was Bolero on the Ocarina of Time.
Could be Oops all dungeons.
Theoretically, yes. I mean, Morpha is a possibility for Dins.
At the very least, we've been in there. We've been into Deku, and now we're going into Jabu. So, for Alexis, this is all of them. As he kind of, I was going to say slowly, not even slowly, rapidly runs out of checks that actually the Dins can be on. Although, I guess Jabu, it might be slowly running out of checks. Jabu, not quick.
It's good news for Tom. Well, somewhat good news for Tom if it is in Jabu, because the next thing he can do is Jabu. I mean, basically all he has left are Ice Cavern, Water Temple, which long shot was in ice, so it's a lot less tempting to go into water until you have the long shot, and Jabu, all of which need you to go hand in the letter. So that's probably going to be his next play. Go hand in that letter.
It wasn't a full clear of water for Alexis, so we do have a few checks there.
Water hasn't been completed. Dark Link Loop and Morpha are untouched.
There's only a couple of items in there because of how many items are in there.
Neither did chickens. Maybe there's light arrows on chickens.
You're right, they haven't done chickens.
I played 3 races in Scrubs Season 4, and 2 of them had lights on chickens, so it can happen.
Well, that's how many chickens was it?
5.
5 is interesting.
5 is, in my opinion, optimal.
I mean, I think
there's still a good amount of chicken collecting, but you don't have to cross the fence.
I mean 0 is optimal,
No,
right? Because you just
no,
don't
you
have to do
gotta
any
go pick up
collecting.
chickens.
But it doesn't. But it's not the most interesting. Like I'm quite happy with 3 or 4.
This is another possibility. We've not seen Alexis try this one yet. It's red.
It's not the right red.
Yep. I'm trying to think of what checks even has left that isn't handing in a letter first. Now that Tom is going to be picking up the hover boots first, will he check Rufio on the way past? Will he remember that he hasn't checked Rufio?
Good question. Because it could be outside Ganon's castle,
Could be outside Ganon's castle, and there could be light arrows in Light Trial.
which I'll call outside Ganon's castle French vanilla.
Yeah, possibly. I'll take it. I'll allow it.
Right location, just 7 years too late.
Oh, this isn't... It's gonna push him away from Rufio, this burning cack scene. I don't see him going back to pick up Rufio, unfortunately.
I mean, it might be fine.
Yeah, it might be fine. It might be fine.
Tom's first to get the hovers.
First to get the hovers, unfortunately, it doesn't really help anyone until you have the Din's Fire to go with it.
Tom already checked 10. That's how he got his strength 2.
Yeah, it's Alexis that hasn't checked any skull yet, which is a mistake I do a lot and have been burnt repeatedly for. You know, once you have a set number of skulls, to hand them in. The number of seeds I've messed up by not checking 10 until I'd got my 20 or 30.
I've found that a lot when there's a strength hinted high up, that there's another strength sitting there on like 10 or 20.
The strengths were on the right side of the Goron Boulder Maze, on 10 skulls, and on the man on the roof in Kakariko.
And there's the Goron Ruby. But why Princess Ruto?
Not vanilla.
Alright, everyone, post them in chat. You know what time it is.
Although I will say, congratulations to the trackers for getting the stones right on the tracker.
Hell yeah. No dying of Big Octo today.
One check left. You're in Baronade. And the Octorok strikes again. World's most efficient enemy.
I hate that guy. Gender neutral.
There is no more successful enemy in Ocarina of Time.
I have regained cat.
Regained. Same cat, different cat.
The same cat from the start of the stream.
Ah, right.
The one with all the bits.
One that has at least one eye.
Yeah, between the 4 voids, we have a total of, let me do maths here, 14 legs and 8.5 eyes.
Yeah, it's a decent ratio. On average, whole.
That's all you need, really. Hang on, I'll get a photo and I'll put it in the Discord. Did I say 8.5 eyes? I meant 6.5 eyes. Good to see someone was paying attention. Molly, I'm trying to take a photo of you. Please be cute.
You should be joining the Discord. There are cat pictures. Do like TomPouce's strategy of waiting until he had the hover boots to go into Water Temple.
Yeah, I'm down with that. It's not like it's an area you'd go to prioritise getting skulls.
Well, he didn't have the long shot. A decent number of the skulls in Water Temple are long shot locked.
Fair point.
Guaranteed an item. We haven't seen the block push chest. That was the other one that Alexis has done that we didn't see. I don't know whether it was a key or a item. We're going to see that now. There's a key on the push block chest.
Where are we? Cute and culinary.
Now, the interesting, well, a worrying thing for Tom is the more checks we see, the more the spectre of light arrows in light trial looms over us.
Alright, chat, I delivered the goods in the Discord. Alexis is playing Minuet?
Yeah, there's a few different places. Probably Crater and Trail Fairies.
Yeah. Quick flash prediction, you've not got long left. Din's in toilet, 15 seconds.
Do you believe? Do you believe in meme?
It's pretty evenly split.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
until the
chance.
Until the big drop at the end.
I agree, chat. Go with your heart. Tom will be the first to check these locations, though.
Yeah, seeing the Dark Limp loop.
Not having the Dark Link not playing nicely here for Tom. There we go.
I really hate it. I think I've only once ever done Dark Link without Deku Nuts, and it's awful. I hate it.
I don't mind it. Big Orange Sword makes it easy, but
Yeah, big
I
oil
always
sword
do,
is
I
also
always
really
do
nice.
the word I'm looking for. I always do the nut strats just because it's easier.
It's also funnier.
One check left in, well, 2 checks left in water, but one of them Tom can't do. And it's a small chest. Unless we haven't seen Dragon Chest. I can't remember.
I don't think we saw it, but we might have seen it, and I'm being silly. It's a small item.
It's small anyway. Yep. And Tom has no choice left but to go hand in the letter, I believe. Strength 3 is on Rufio for Tom and is on 10 skulls for Alexis. So Alexis will be getting it, I would assume.
Kind of surprised he hasn't. I guess he doesn't want to turn it in until he's just going into shadow and he's got tins.
It's an interesting play. I mean, sure, why not? You don't need to turn in the hovers, then don't do it. But you must... It must be weighing on your mind that there are items you haven't picked up that aren't dins. That may be useful.
And someone like, if you had hover boots now, it would make just picking, it might make some of the water temple execution a little easier.
Yep. This is an awkward jump. I do not like it. But Alexa's making it look easy, which it is not.
Oh my god, there's a lot of points down.
Yes. I mean, these are high stakes. We don't mess around when we're talking about things in the toilet.
Oh, I've got enough money to redeem Hell Knight rolling me a seed. I might save it for more novelty redemptions. What have we got left? Outside Ganon's castle, toilet. That might be it.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, we do somewhat care about where the light arrows are. As I said, the spectre of light arrows in Light Trial is still hovering over the shield.
Is it even really a spectre though? Given that Strength 3 is just right there. I guess you feel like Alexis is much more likely to get.
It's right there for Alexis. I would not say it's right there for Tom, as if you at 2 hours 45, if you haven't picked up Rufio, I think
When
you've
are you?
forgotten it. I can see Alexis going to pick up the hovers after water because, you know, you've basically run out of checks.
Yeah, at the moment, Strength, the outside Ganon's Castle Fairy isn't available for him because he doesn't have Strength 3.
Yeah.
I assume he knows from key counting that there's not an item on Morpher, that's another small key.
Either location, I think, is bad news for Tom, though. You know, he's handing in the letter. The only things available to Tom at the moment are to rush toilet before any of the letter checks, or follow in Alexis's footsteps. no location.
He
Yeah,
did
if you feel
save
behind,
quit
you
out
can rush
of.
toilet, but
He saved quit out of Fountain and didn't check Jabu.
yeah, Jabu is a bigger time investment, but I can see him going ice.
Yeah, he does still have Ice Cavern available. That is true.
Jabu is a much bigger time investment than. I wouldn't say a much bigger time investment, but it is a bigger time investment.
So I think for Alexis, he's doing literally the last location, right? We haven't seen Adult. Did we see Adult Lake? We must have seen Adult Lake. Oh, they're not.
We haven't
They're
seen
not,
Adult
then-
Lake, but they're unless lights are there, we're not seeing it.
Yeah, they're not locked, but they're not behind
Locked by
Spirit
scale.
Temple. Yeah. Yep. We did see Shoot the Sun, and we know Lab Dive is dead.
Yeah, we saw
It's
Shoot the
been
Sun.
hinted.
It was a nut.
Otherwise, Lab Dive could absolutely be Din's Fire, like logically. The problem is that we still logically can't actually do it because we've only still got that one scale.
Unless the gold scale is on the toilet.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Hovers is on 50.
Yes, Hoverboot's on 50.
TomPouce has it. Alexis has 50 skulls, just hasn't redeemed them yet because they're still looking for Dim's Fire. Dim's Fire? Din's
That when
Fire.
you can't get
Thank
it
you.
to light.
Yeah, thank you for the sub baseball. I guess that's when it's been in the toilet and it's struggling a little bit.
The hook shot was on the lower piece of heart in river. Not that it matters because we're not playing League, but and the second one was hook locked in the ice cavern.
On the map chest. We haven't been cuckoo collecting yet. It can't have Dins because it's not locked.
Yeah.
But it can have light arrows.
Yep, could well be lights.
As far as we can tell, the reason he didn't do Rufio is because he came into Kakariko straight from the graveyard, and in his pathing, picked up a bomb bag and was like, I don't need to do Rufio. So just went straight past.
Either thought that or didn't remember Rufio because nothing was disrupted. Which is a thing that happens to me anyway. Yeah, Alexis seems to be hunting for Dins first, but I can definitely see him going to pick up the hovers after this, because this is his last available check.
And at that point, he's like, well, where else can it be? Outside Ganon's castle. Well, where's strength 3? So he might just turn in the skulls to see.
Yeah, you've got 4 2 checks there. Yeah, because 2 of them are hinted.
Tell you what, Randobot rolled a doozy today. This felt like,
Yep.
I was thinking for a while that for a 50 skull seed, this is not actually too bad. And Dins is still AWOL.
Yeah.
Here's the moment of truth.
Yep, if it's not here, the story of the seed then comes down to when does Alexis go pick up his hovers. The star is hyperventilating.
I love a good toilet check. The toilet's one of those ones where you feel like if it's here that it's probably likely that your opponent didn't check it, but you never know.
Yeah. You You never know. I think you probably would know by the fact that they haven't finished. It's a big chest.
Oh
Are
my
we going to
god.
see Big Oron Sword? Is it Big Oron Sword?
The other scale.
Scale 2. There we
Let's
go.
go!
It's Dins. It's Dins.
Let's fucking go!
It had to happen at some point in the tournament, and it has.
It was guaranteed the moment Kyrie went all in on no.
I can retire now.
This is it. We've peaked. We have just
Yeah.
peaked.
This is the peak of the channel. How does it get better?
It does not get. The only way it could have got better was if the hammer was also on chickens. That's the only way it could have got better. Like, da-da-da-da. And he's going straight for 50, not even checking 10 or 20.
Not even checking 10. What if light hours are in light trial?
We burn that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably TomPouce is out at this point. It is.
It's TomPouce out, but unfortunately, is it an out for TomPouce when he seems to have forgotten the one thing that could be an out for him?
Yes, it's not a great out, but it is possible that Alexis doesn't check those for a while and goes and does other stuff looking for strength 3. You've got a good point that Tom did double dip GTD when he went to pick up the hammer with strength 2. Could have got toilet at that point if he'd key counted.
But toilet is a pain in the ass, so it's
true.
It's a very fair last location.
I can't believe we got into the toilet. That's so good. This is glow now for Alexis.
This is glow mode for Alexis, yes. Looks like he is... it's too early for me to say. I'm going to ignore it. And we don't have furores, so no fancy shadow routing tricks.
Where are you going, Tom?
Morpha, probably.
Did we not key count and know that Morpha was an item? Morpha was a small key?
We did anyway. Water key logic's deceptively complicated. For where keys can be in the lobby.
Missing the Instagrab on Morpha. Gonna go and hide in the corner. As Nightbot correctly points out, if you want to support us, we're currently looking for volunteers, including race monitors, trackers, and commentators, to all correctively pog out of their gourd when Dins appears at the toilet.
Yes, you can volunteer. Who knows? Maybe you will get the hammer on chicken seed.
Here's the truth spinner. You might think, oh, there's 3 options, so it's just a 1 in 3, right? Wrong. It's actually 50-50. Either you get it right or you don't.
Is it not like a 33.6% chance of one of them?
So I think it's
slightly off.
So I think if you go, going anti-clockwise, it's 4 in 9, 3 in 9, 2 in 9, I think. So it's more likely to be the first one anti-clockwise, and then the middle one, and then the last one.
Or just be me and have it be the third one every time.
Correct. Introduced in the version 7 of the randomizer was fixed truth spinner RNG. After you reload the seed, the correct location for the truth spinner is always the same. It's basically, it was unlikely that a race would ever come down to who got lucky on the truth spinner, but the idea was that should such a thing happen, that'd be why.
It looks like Tom didn't fully clear water, and so couldn't key count.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, he might help us get tracker percent. Not that I think that'll be any consolation for him.
I don't know which checks he hasn't done, but
Alexis is not quite go moding Shadow here, but he knows that he can skip any small chests. He has basically done all seeds, to be fair.
He's going to spend the time killing the bats, though, rather than using lens strats. Saves them anyway.
We do still have five big chests.
Yeah, I think so.
Hello, man.
Yeah, we've got one scale, we've got one bomb bag, we've got Furor's Wind and the big Oran sword. Not saying there, if lights on OGC or if lights are strength 3 locked, is that bad news for Alexis? Yes, but feasibly I would say it's worse news for Tom.
I feel like because there's 2 checks for Alexis and Kakariko in 10 and 20 gold, as opposed to just the one for TomPouce on Rufio, and I feel like he's just completely memory hold Rufio at this point. It happens.
I think the key thing there is Alexis has deliberately skipped 10 skulls. While at this point, I can't imagine Tom has deliberately skipped Rufio this whole time. Nothing interesting so far in Shadow, unfortunately, as Go Mode Shadow tends to do. Not a huge number of keys either.
So it looks like we're going to be paying a visit to the staff in the back. The the usual kind of the backroom staff that no one really talks about, and the manager.
Yeah.
And of course, after the manager, we'll have to take things downstairs to the big boss.
Now, is this Tom heading towards adult fishing?
Could be light arrows.
It could. I think at this point Tom's just struggling.
I mean,
none of your logic's pointing to Hylia, but you know, you're 3 hours in. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, I don't know if he's forgotten about the toilets, or maybe he just hasn't clocked that the toilets behind the logic chain.
It is a more complex aspect of aspect of Spirit Key logic that's locking it, because it's not so much counting keys, it's the location of the small keys that proves that Iron Boots are locked there. Because the chest the Iron Boots were in isn't necessarily 4 key locked or X key locked. It depends on where your keys are in the Spirit Temple. I mean, don't ask me for Am I back? I think I dropped.
You're here. No, you're all good.
Do you hear my whole sentence then?
Run it past me again.
Did it sound like I finished a sentence?
I think so. I got distracted by other picture of Void Cat.
I started talking about Spirit Key Logic, and your eyes glazed over.
You did start talking about Spirit Key Logic. Yeah, I mean, it's not just about the number of keys; it's about where the keys are.
Yeah, it's as far as I'm aware. And happy 3 hours, everyone.
Is it? No, of course it's a happy 3 hours. We got Tins in the motherfucking toilet. Of course it's happy. I'll let you take it this time.
Okay, let's see which order Velvet has put them in today. So firstly, thank you to the runners, our French connection here of Alexis and TomPouce. Our trackers today are Ginger Sunny and Shaynok. Shaynok is also doing the notes tracking to ensure that me and Benji sound like we know what we're talking about. The race monitor today is Gutterun, who has been doing a lot of race monitoring for the Challenge Cup, so thank you for that. And me on commentary, and Benji and his cats, thank you for commentating with me today.
Always
Velvet
a pleasure.
is restreaming, making sure that all the pictures come up on the screen, and we have Happy Grant, who is doing our French restream.
Merci beaucoup, Papi.
Merci beaucoup. And you are right that we are having to push into the back of the... We are not having to push into the back, but we don't have Furor's Wind, so Alexis is not go moding Shadow. This is a very fair play.
I mean, there's no way that I wouldn't. We didn't have the boss key, which I think is that vanilla? Or is it normally on the other side?
Nah, it's French vanilla. It's on the other side.
The most French of vanillas.
Yeah.
If you watch the Pappy Grant restream, that's just vanilla. That's how it works, right? Yeah, I was going to say, while you're looking for the light arrows, there's no way you don't have a look at back here, even if you did have the boss key. Because if he says the Shadow Temple, you're going to be like, no.
Even if you set the shortcut, it's still a sizable time.
It's another boat ride.
Another boat ride. Who is winning? This is definitely Alexis's race to lose.
Oh, 100%.
A handful of routing decisions came down to it. The key one was that Tom missed Strength 2 on the man on the roof in Kakariko, and unfortunately that led to him going to GTG and the Spirit Temple with only 1 strength, while Alexis was able to go there with 2 and clear extra checks, which got him his hammer.
Like, Alexis had his strength 2 from the roof, but Tom could have picked up the strength. He could have picked up that one or the one in 10 skulls.
Yeah. I'm getting that. Fire Temple. Strengthless jump. A lot easier the second time. It is a very quick strat when you can get it first try. I've ever successfully achieved it. I think he does feel that he's read logic wrong somewhere and is now just cleaning up any check again.
What's your 150 beats per minute song of choice?
I just eyeball it.
Oh.
I do the same for Ganon. Ganondorf, I mean.
Fair. I'm gonna fuck. What?
Too busy in the zone. Too busy in the zone to be singing.
Oh, just like Heaven by the Cure is 151 beats per minute. That'll do.
That's fair. Chat, what's your favourite 150 beat per minute song? My key problem is I get mixed up with the songs for CPR. The Officer's First Aid.
For a minute there, I thought you said CTR, and I was like, why do you need songs for Crash Team Racing? And then I remembered what you were actually talking about. Oh, we don't get vanilla lax. That's disappointing.
Yeah. I think I've only had lax be an important item like twice. I feel like it should be important a lot more.
I've even seen it happen in Triforce Blitz.
Yeah, I've had it once in a Triforce Blitz seed.
Kittos?
Deeper Fire Temple Shaynok. For lights as well. The very top, so the last 2 checks of Fire Temple are still an option. Yeah, Strand 3 Casino could be looming, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot more positive a casino for one than the other.
Yeah. We have successfully. I had a word in my head, and then I almost said digested. That's not the word I wanted. Dispatched some Dynalphos.
Dispatch is a word, yeah. Does make it sound like they work for UPS, but
we'll move on. Gonna slay some skeletons.
Nothing on the highest Goron. Furby
And I assume he's key counted and knows that there's nothing on the hammer chest.
And they're still there.
Still there. Gonna knock out some knuckles.
I was gonna go for iced some iron knuckles.
That also works. Spice Girls reunion tour tragically cut short.
I still found it weird that only Jerry Halliwell was an actual Spice Girl.
What do you mean? Oh, Ginger. Right, yeah.
Ginger.
You mean they're not called like cardamom spice?
None of the others were spices.
The problem is, right, that you would only need one, right? You just have all spice, and that's everything covered.
Yeah, it's true.
Why do you need any other spices? It's all spices. Easy. Done. That's how it works, right? You can tell that I'm not a great cook.
Yeah. I mean, technically, it's only one. It's only one spice because it's pimento beans, I think. Pimento.
Oh, interesting.
Seeds.
Anyway, there's inside Mike. There's Mike Castle.
Yeah, I mean it was like a 95% chance it was going to be inside his castle.
TomPouce checking big pogs.
15 checks.
That stands up to scrutiny.
Mine says 14. My notepad document, but oh yeah, we saw the big key chest. Right, yeah.
I miserably failed a Triforce Split seed once. Benjy talks about Triforce Splits again. Because I completely forgot that check, that the boss key chest
exists.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm completely bottlenecked. I've cleared literally every location in the game, and obviously it had a hook shot.
It's a rite of passage to forget. There's our gold scale. There's one of our 2 down.
That is. Do you think that's scale locked? I think that might be scale locked.
One of our 4 remaining checks.
It's not Shadow 1.
Oops.
Whoop.
And fortunately, Tom is heading to Child. I'm getting the feeling this is Jabu.
Does look suspiciously like it would be Jabu, doesn't it? What happens if both runners forfeit? Then it's best of 3 goes to game 4. Oh, another big chest.
Mean, it is 10 past 11 for both of them.
Where was Dins?
There's our furores.
They're just all going to be here. Where was Dins? I highly recommend checking the pinned clip, because it's glorious.
2 options left for Alexis before he sighs deeply and begins looking for strength 3. There was a moment where I thought this was a polite seed.
Me too. I genuinely thought, you know, for a 50s goal seed, it's been all right.
Yeah.
And then the Din's Casino happened.
It was like, this isn't a bad 50 gold seed because, you know, hovers on 50 isn't awful.
I mean, I'll be honest as well. If we're in a casino and we want to come up big, a flush is usually not a terrible option.
True, true.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
Oh, it's strength 3 locked. That's as a sad man serenading.
Adult Lake, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to using the
Texas
lens.
places any.
So we at the moment we have 2 checks now because Tom picked up the big Goron sword on Big Pose, which I missed because I was looking at Alexis.
Oh,
which is big.
Sword on Big Pose. Oh.
Yeah, which is big for Tom because that's half an hour time save that Alexis didn't get.
Yeah, this race. I mean, have you got snacks, Benji?
Actually, no.
This is still definitely Alexis's race to lose, as I still think this is going to come down to even if Alexis last locations. Alexis knows his last location. Tom doesn't.
Yeah, here's a full shadow plus going up plus the climb plus half of Ganon's carts. Like, he knows that he needs strength 3 now, whereas Tom still has to do all of shadow after finding Din's in the toilet, by the way, before he even gets there.
Alexis still has the top of Fire Temple to go, though.
He does have deepest fire. Yeah,
and no
I'm not sure he has much else, to be honest, at this point, apart from the 10 and 20 skulls.
Yeah. I mean, without Bolero, you must go check your skulls, unless you've memory hold the entire skull house.
Just marked them, just in your head said, I need 50 skulls and that's it. It's possible.
Skulls. Yeah, Tom could have got the hammer when he dipped GTG for the second time, but the toilet is toilet is a time investment, regardless of when you go to the training grounds. It's a couple of minutes.
Obviously, because we've now
that's a lot of time for one check.
Like, we now know that obviously that's the check he needed. And so not doing it was the wrong decision, but that doesn't mean it was a bad decision necessarily.
And one thing I will remind everyone else, or just everyone, this is no longer a one and done. This is semi-finals. From the semi-finals and the finals, they are done out of best of 3. So, regardless of who wins this race, it's not over for them. They're not out of the tournament yet.
I was going to say that even if you win this seed, I think you're pretty glad it's a best of 3.
Yeah.
Because it probably feels like to players to come to win a seed like this, you feel like not necessarily that you won it, just that you survived it quicker.
Yeah. That you last locationed a less bad location. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Now it's time for Alexis to
have a think.
Think deeply. What have I not done?
I don't know why he was interested in Sun's song.
Can I shoot the sun? Or what can you do?
He checked shoot the sun.
Yeah. Has he done Child Graveyard? Don't know if he's done Dampy Digging.
Good question.
Night Market, yes. Haven't seen Night Market.
We saw someone do the TCG because I remember coming back to having just missed it.
Alexis hasn't done Night Market.
No. This could be a good chance to get your TCG guesses in chat.
And still nothing on the bomb tree bowling, unfortunately. What else does Alexis have to do?
All right, that's the cutoff point. Left. Oh, I'm out.
I'm
Rip.
always out. Mine's right, left, right, left, right.
I've had to pivot recently to try and find a new one that no one else goes. So I'm now left, 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 right.
Left, right, right, left.
Alexis has full cleared GTG.
It's
I
not
think
done
I'm
horse
pretty
back archery,
sure.
though.
Did he not? I feel like he did.
Someone did. Was it not Tom? Did
They
both
might
do
have
it?
both. They might have both done it. We saw Valley.
Something was someone got 1640. I remember that much.
Yeah, that was Tom. I think Alexis got 1800. So maybe.
Ah.
Oh no, was that? That might have been yesterday's stream. That was a different stream yesterday. By the way, congratulations, Tom, on nailing your chess game.
A different Tom.
Your prize, is apparently a tier 1 sub from Purple and a lifetime supply of seeds from the one and only DK64randomizer.com. So I mean OOTrandomizer.com.
DK64randomizer.com. I'm sure I'll give them away too.
I still can't believe they made a DK64 randomizer. You can randomize everything now. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Alexis is inching ever closer to that skull house.
What you got for me, old man?
Lamenting the state.
I think that's just Esma being a gremlin, as he wants to do.
Yeah. You're going to Kakariko, or are you going to check the skull house?
You must. Surely you check the skull house.
Surely.
Why else would you be here?
Unless you've memory hold it.
You've got nothing else in here that you would need to do. He's going.
Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. You can't even bomb him.
Da 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 da.
You can't use weapons in that house, so you can't even express your displeasure. Yeah, I would 100% have imagined the immediate step after checking skulls is to go Sun Song and do chickens. No need.
Yep.
No need. Oh, I forgot the emotes. Go. How is DK64 randomized? Oh, well, I mean, there's a site that would do that question very well. DK64randomizer.com has a lifetime supply of seeds.
True. When people say you can picture how it works in your head, I can't picture how it works in your head because I don't know how DK64 works, but how most randomizers work, you shuffle item placements, requirements, yada yada yada. There's a lot of cool randos that have kind of come out in the past 6 months, year. Like, we've now got OOT Ocarina Majora's Mask combo randomizer, which is like bananas to me. Pun not intended. I do have an N64, to be fair, so if I found a copy of DK64, I might be tempted to pick it up if it was cheap enough. Anyway, here's Baronade for TomPouce.
Alexis with anxious shield flicks. I mean, with the way this seed's gone, you must be spending every second waiting for the dot done from the other player.
Yeah,
Two-
100, like...
Basically 2 last locations, and your opponent hasn't finished yet.
This is not a seed that feels good, even if you win.
No.
Come on. Boring.
There they are.
Can you imagine if it was the one other big chest remaining? Like, we literally saw every other big chest except the final bomb bag. We saw everything else.
That is true.
I was going to say the other bomb bag's probably on Child Angie, but that doesn't work because then we wouldn't have had a bomb bag path.
Yeah, we know the bomb is bomb locked. To be honest, I'm not really sure where there is in the game for the bomb bag to be.
Outside Cannon's Castle, maybe? In the other Strength 3 lock check in the back?
Yeah? Yeah, that's basically the only check we haven't seen. Those are the quickest checks in the game, but, you know, when you're feeling behind, do you want to go for the quickest checks in the game?
Maybe you think, like, you know what? There's like with the number of the number of checks that are in Shadow or inside Ganon's Castle, like there's a good chance that I just find light arrows on the way, or that like it's overwhelmingly likely that I don't need that. And there's also the chance that he just says in Kakariko Village, and then you just go and pick them up anyway.
Yeah, you had like you had what, about 30, 35 checks left in the game, and between Shadow Temple and Ganon's Castle, that's 20, 27, 28.
I mean, I'd still check them out of fear, essentially.
True.
Chickens on Restream, let's go! Louis, check the pinned message.
Unfortunately, we know that there can't be anything fun on the chickens.
Could be a winner piece of heart, that's kind of fun.
Could be a winner piece of heart, and if we get a winner piece of heart, that does mean we have completed. Well, we know meme percent.
They're not picking up the ice arrows in the windmill. By the way, nice clean Ganondorf there, especially considering that he doesn't have the big Goron sword because it was on big pogs.
In the windmill. They're not picking up the ice arrows in the windmill. They're not picking up Greg in the Tech Grotto, and they're not picking up the Stone of Agony on Dampe Race.
The only one they picked up was Nehru because
it was in a chest.
Yeah, TomPouce at this point. I don't think he knows that there are any checks left for him. He still has Rufio. Still has not done Rufio and the toilet. I think he's just waiting now for Alexis to. There's been, I feel like, for a lot of the seat, maybe the last hour or so, they've both
he is rotating in confusion.
They've both been thinking, where the fuck do I have left? I'm sure Tom has just completely. Maybe he might have just miscounted keys in GTG, and just think, well, maybe that's the reason I didn't do toilet, because it can't be in toilet.
Yeah, we've all had seeds like this. Anyone who's played Randomizer for any length of time knows this feeling, where you stand in a spot and rotate slowly.
Also,
like you're on a desk chair in a boring meeting.
Yeah. I forgot to do the 3 hours, 23 minutes, and apologies to August 40th. Here's Ganon. First phase was really clean, again from Alexis. How you can manage to execute well at the end of this absolute tire fire, I don't know.
You must be waiting for the dot done from the opponent.
Phase 1 was good. This is not the best phase 2 Alexis will ever do.
Yeah, the camera angles have not been pleasant. As Nintendo 64 games were wont to do. And
one more hit left, as TomPouce, I think, has finally clocked that
Tom
he's reversing to GTG.
Yes.
And
Unfortunate.
finally,
not gonna get there.
yeah, after 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 24 long, arduous seconds, Alexis has
taken a seat.
finished. Yeah, 3:25.19 final time in the end. GG to both runners. Fuck this.
Yes.
Rando Bar on the war march today.
Yes. All seeds can sub 330.
Correct.
Well played. I mean, there wasn't really any mistakes in execution. They both played very well. Just unfortunate that the items weren't in good places.
You
So
say
close.
that again.
So close to tracker percent as well. Your cat agrees.
Yeah, Lucy. It was shit, wasn't it? Yes.
Afraid I don't have access to the race room. We'll see if we are going to get anyone in for interview. We've got Tom in the chat.
Yeah, I think Alexis will be here in a couple of minutes. Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry, Tom.
It's okay. It's okay. It's one of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It wasn't fun watching you rotate in confusion in Kakariko.
I mean, there was so many funny things that happened in the seed, and yeah, because I was sick, I started to feel like dizzy past the 2 hour mark, and I started bugging everywhere. Man's getting buried, not cutting keys. So much stuff happened, so I knew that unless I made a critical, I couldn't win the seeds. But
yeah. So was that what happened in Gerudo Training Ground and miscounting keys?
okay, yeah,
Ah,
makes sense.
okay.
Makes sense.
So have you? So the key issue here that separated the two of you was strength 2. So do you know where your third strength was? Not.
Toilet?
Unfortunately not. It was Dins in toilet. Your second strength was on the man on the roof in Kakariko.
Wow! Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Was that something that you forgot to check, or was it?
Yeah, I forgot to check, so yeah, no chance. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've all been there when you are going into adult Kakariko in a sort of different direction. Come from the graveyard and change route halfway through when you pick up a bomb bag.
I forgot to check, so yeah, no chance. Okay.
And welcome in, and good games, Alexis.
Yo.
GG Alexis. Congrats.
Thank you, GG TomPouce.
I can't imagine you've got a massively favourable view of that seed either, Alexis.
Yo.
GG Alexis.
Okay. Thank you, GG
It was-
TomPouce.
It was not a polite one. It
No.
was not a polite seed. It's always going to be an interesting seed when you see a scale path to fire arrows.
Yeah. The path is very interesting, but very tricky too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this check is the world check with the other check.
Yeah.
I mean,
And after 3 hours, finding out that you have strength 3 to find as well.
Yeah. That's terrible, but I think I am very lucky for that because I find strength 3 very, very fast. Just go to Lake Adult for nothing, but after that
Yeah.
I take the good decision. So I think I'm lucky for this point.
Yeah, between the two of you, we've seen, as far as I'm aware, I think every check in the game, basically. There were maybe 2
Okay.
check. I think only outside Gan's Castle Ferry was the only thing we hadn't seen checked in the game.
oh,
Yeah.
or Hot Rodder.
Hot Rod or Goron as well.
But I think otherwise we saw pretty much everything. Like we were missing one big chest. We saw everything, every copy of everything else. We were trying to check track. We were trying to logically check track in chat as well. That's a mouthful. I think we came down to the toilet as the literal last location.
Yep.
Like
It's the only place Dins could be at the time it was picked up.
it's the sort of seed that you play and think, thank God this is a best of 3, so that so that it doesn't come down to this seed. I think.
Yeah, that's cool. Best of 3 is so cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. I didn't feel nervous playing this. So yeah.
Yes, it'll definitely take rest after this one.
Yeah.
I think
Cool
you've
down.
played. I think you've got game 2 scheduled for tomorrow. Are you
Yes.
still okay for that, or are you going to bear the mental scars for a bit
no
longer?
worries. I'll do my best to recover.
Does it, with a best of 3 sort of mentality, does the way the first seed or the first couple of seeds plan out, does that affect your playstyle for future seeds, or do you just think I'm just going to stick to what I do, and if it works, it works?
I stick to the usual. So yeah, just playing my way. Not anything particular, I guess. Only point maybe was maybe made the critical like just after Water Temple, I think, or just before Water Temple, because
I'm not
a
sure
lot of
that.
a lot of bad stuff happened on my side. I mean, I got trolled many times, like the fairy in the forest, which trolled me very nicely. Like couldn't do the big fall. Then the fairy saved me when I wanted to die on the valley. That's very funny. Twin Aura was very Twin Aura was very funny.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I followed the platform just to make sure that the cutscene procs, but it didn't. The witch was kept launching in spells, and I was like, wait, did I miscounting the number of hits? So I just went back, got frozen, frozen.
Yeah.
But I can't see. It was so funny, yeah. And yeah. So now I just feel like I had to make a gamble past 2 hours because of all of that thing and stuff. But otherwise, I just play the usual.
Yep. It's unfortunate sometimes it works and sometimes Randobot puts it in the worst possible place.
I mean, I think having the scale path was really interesting for the first 2.5 hours,
Yes.
maybe, until it just put Din's Fire anywhere, and at that point it became less interesting.
It was awful. Like,
After ice, that's terrible for Dins after ice.
Yeah. It was so awful. It's like, okay, it's behind the spirit. Just clear everything behind the area and be okay. And bam, you have nothing, and you have to find your strength for that. And wow.
Well, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat side, so I think it'll come to me and Benji to thank everyone involved. So thank you first to our runners, Alexis and Tom. Thank you for putting on this show, even if it wasn't the one either of you wanted to put on. Our trackers today, Ginger Sunny and Shaynok, also doing the note sheet tracking to make sure the commentators look good. Velvet for restreaming today and making sure that we'll see the race, and Benji and his cats with me